Welcome to the Late Night with Chalky podcast.
All right, here we go.
Ready.
Friends and family, brothers and sisters, welcome to the Late Night with Chalky podcast.
Woo! Our guest this week spends his early mornings on the beach or in the water and the rest of the day on the road seeing retailers.
All day, every day.
From surf team and marketing manager at Fox, he's been a sales rep for Cobian Sandals, handling the Southern California territory. 5 years? 6 years? Getting close?
6.
Dang! But that's not his only job. He's been helping other surfers reach their potential and achieving their goals through his program, Orange County Surf Coaching. Can I pay for him to maybe get some coaching?
Dude, I know your dad, man. Can we get a discount? Can we get a dad bro deal?
Two bronze-eye bowls definitely helps.
Hey, from beginner to high performance,
Whoa, dude.
this guy can do individual or groups, and he has a program that can get you to that next level, Lyndon. Through time management skills, teamwork, problem solving, and communication, he looks to help mold you into a better human in and out of the water.
Is there an age limit to your...
Nope.
No, bro.
I'm in!
We welcome our good friend, Christian Grindzy Saenz.
Grindzy, Saenz!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like a man now.
Yeah, it's weird.
We've known you since
a
you were
dad.
a little baby, dude.
Chronic days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much a baby. I think we met you, or I met you
For
at...
sure.
No, you weren't born yet, right? You weren't even born yet.
I was born in 91.
Well, whenever we were tagging clothes in your dad's...
I was born, that was in my dad's garage.
In your dad's garage,
Yeah.
in breakwater?
Beach walk.
Beach walk?
No, that was,
Or
Bridge walk?
Seabridge.
Seabridge, sorry,
Yeah.
got on a blank.
So
Yeah.
I think I lived there for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And then they moved down Edwards Hill.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
So we've known you since you were...
But I remember being at Grom, and I think I remember you maybe first starting to rep LAR, where you guys were in the garage, and you were at HSS still. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's been pretty much forever.
Forever.
Yeah, I lived like 2 blocks away, and I just cruised over on my freaking cruiser. After I surfed, dark, Dad would roll up the garage, and I'd be in there just like
Tagging clothes.
tagging clothes, writing the prices down.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
And they were...
Yeah.
They were like... It wasn't...
It was the gun.
computer.
No.
It was like...
no.
It was like...
I mean, marks on the triplicate, like packing slip,
Yeah.
and make sure it was all there, and then I'd price it, and it was pretty sick. Like for a Grom that could just go in a few hours in the evening, and
Yeah.
So, we got to tell people whose son you are. Chris Hagason Saenz,
Hagason.
who was our boss at HSS for a long ass time. He spent a good amount of his lifetime working for HSS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all worked for him, and holy shit, like, and what was crazy about meeting you, you know how like when people say having a kid is a miracle?
Yeah.
Like that was like one thing that I was like remembered about you, because you were born with a little defect.
Yeah.
You couldn't poop
I couldn't
regularly.
Nope.
Yeah.
I was born with a dead nerve in my butt.
So you had to have a colostomy bag.
Yeah, I had a full meatball hanging out of me.
Yeah.
Meatballs. Yeah.
Which was fucking gnarly. Like,
It was super
But you were
weird.
a Grom, so you didn't.
I was a Grom. I guess like when I was born, they were like, hey, there's not like complications, but like keep an eye on this down the road.
yeah.
And I think by the time I was like a year and a half, they did surgery on me.
Yeah.
My parents were tripping, you know, that's kind of why me and my brother have not a huge gap, but we're like 4 years apart. Just because I think I was pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know?
That was like one of those eye-opening things. Like, dude, the kid's like perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you're born perfect, and all of a sudden you have this like life-threatening kind of,
Yeah, totally.
you know, defect that you're like, you can't shit on your own.
No, straight up. It's
Like,
crazy.
And you had to walk around with a plastic colostomy bag.
And they had to change it. And I
They
was,
had, I
it
mean,
was
like
gnarly.
But just being a little baby and not knowing like how like to deal with that, you know,
Yeah.
it's like because a kid can just like
yeah, it's just
you run into something, the bag's gone. I mean, usually it's like older people have that.
Yeah.
You know, so for like a little
Yeah.
baby to have. It's pretty.
You're perfect except for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, that's life though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's been so many just scares. I mean, talking about kids, Lily was a month early.
Wow.
You know? I was in Indo.
Preemie.
Yeah.
I was in Indo on a Mentawai's boat trip. And I get woken up in the middle of the night from a freaking, from the captain. Like, dude, you need to call your wife right now. And I'm like, oh shit, like somebody died? Like what happened? You know,
Yeah.
is she okay? And she's like, yeah, there's complications. We gotta have this kid, like, how soon can he get home? And I'm like, maybe 3 days, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, this is like kind of this is not an easy spot to get out of.
The hardest place in the world.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
I gotta drive the
What
boat
day?
8 hours.
What day in were you?
We were towards the end, we were, like, maybe there was like 2 days left, you know?
Yeah.
So I ended up staying on the boat, but just, you know, checking in all the time. It was a satellite. This is like, you know, 2003, you know, so kind of no internet, just maybe a satellite phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, okay, we're scheduled C-section. Like, I pretty much went from the airport, like, straight to the hospital, like, you know,
Oh my
like the
gosh.
next, yeah,
That's
not knowing,
crazy.
you know, like, what the, yeah.
That's like the scariest thing too. Is like an expecting fall. Like
Yeah.
you're about to be a dad.
Yeah.
Oh, for
and
sure.
you're like
Yeah,
the
nuts.
biggest shock in the world. And you're worried about your wife. And
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing that in the middle of Indo.
Yeah.
But the show's not about late night. It's always turned into.
Or our health.
Yeah. It's not about you, bro. Come on.
It always is.
So we know that you come from surf industry royalty. Tell us like how Hage-san got you into surfing.
Yeah. Gosh, kind of crazy.
Early.
No, you know what? Like not that early.
That's good.
So we did like some Hawaii trips as a family, like growing up, and I think I surfed like Waikiki when I was like 7 or something. But it was on like tandem board, dad holding me,
Yeah.
the whole deal. But really, like the first time I surfed was actually I think Surf and Sports Sano Day when I was like almost 10 years old,
Crazy.
and I like still remember it to this day. Like that's one of the most memorable waves I've ever gotten in my life.
So
Did you have your own board, or were you borrowing?
So we had this board in the garage, and I don't even know what it was at the time. It was probably like I'd say like a 5'6" to a 6'0". I think
Way
it was
big.
like 3 inches thick,
Yeah.
and it was a soft board with tons of rocker.
it was a softboard?
It was a soft board. It was
With
a soft
rocker?
top with tons of rocker. I'm like, this board looks so weird. But my dad's like, hey, just go out, and I was having fun with all
Yeah.
my friends and everybody. And I
So-
caught my own wave and went left and went down the line. And seriously, since that day, I was like, all I want to do is surf.
Yeah. But before that day at Sano, what was your reservations? Did Hage take you out on a big day or something, or you just never got
No,
into it?
he just, not that he didn't introduce me to it, but it was like I was playing other sports.
Yeah.
It was like playing soccer and baseball and basketball, and you know, I hadn't done really junior guards yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was around the water and I was starting to boogie board,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I remember boogie boarding on the south side down the beach with pops, and like, just definitely kind of nervous. But
Yeah.
then when I showed up to Sano, it was like, oh, this is rad.
Yeah, because your dad surfed. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a surfer.
For sure.
Like he would surf
Yeah.
Lunch breaks before,
Yeah.
after work, like
before,
for sure.
after
Yeah,
work.
he
Like
was frothing.
he's a frother.
I think it was probably hard too, because I mean, my brother was a little bit younger, and then my sister too. So I think between doing sports with 3 kids, it wasn't like, hey, let's go surf,
Yeah.
like first thing on mind.
Yeah.
But then,
I know what that's like.
yeah,
We talk about me.
Yeah.
yeah. So then it happened. So it
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. So you didn't get your first real addiction to it started when you were 10.
Yeah,
And it was at Sano.
yeah.
Well, there it's like,
I was
It's-
like, I
it's
was
like-
maybe 9, like
Yeah.
9, 10, right in there.
I mean, Sano's such a cool little special
Yeah.
like beach and break and set up, and it breaks kind of far out.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a surf trip.
For
Right.
sure. And those days are like the most inviting too, because we'd roll down and everybody from HSS would come down,
Yeah.
and like
Kids
families and the
playing.
whole deal. Like
Yeah.
there's like 50 people in the water,
Yeah.
and it's like it was.
And you're not
3
getting
feet.
cleaned up. You can kind of like navigate through. It's mellow.
It was epic.
Before we go any further in your age, we got to bring up this funny story. It's going to be embarrassing for you, but we have to talk about
All right,
it.
let's hear it.
When you were like maybe 5 or 6,
Yeah.
and your dad took you Christmas shopping, I think it was, and for your mom.
Yep.
And yeah, you walked by Victoria's Secrets.
Dude, I don't even know this story.
Oh, dude.
No way.
I'll never forget the story because your dad was like dying telling us. He's like, yeah, you know, so we walk into Victoria's Secrets and the mannequins, you know, they're wearing lingerie, and then there's lingerie and panties all over the tables.
Yeah.
And Christian walked up and picked some up, and he's like, ooh, Dad, panties.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Yeah, we talked. I mean, that was like a laughing.
Yeah.
That's like when you go tell your buds,
Your
like,
boys.
how
Dude,
funny
here's
your-
my boy. Walked to the store and he got all happy and got creepy and said, "Look, Dad, panties."
That's amazing.
He never told you that?
No, he never told me that.
Bro.
That's the first time I've ever heard
We gotta
that story.
tell your dad to listen to this episode because it'll
gosh.
like it was-
reminisce some old.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Darren and I and Dean and
Dude,
whoever
that's
was in that
classic.
room, we're just like, oh my god.
I was already
'Cause he-
psyched.
'cause he
Five.
Oh, son.
But you gotta think your dad is like the first to have kids amongst like
Yeah.
all these
All of us, yeah.
all these
Totally.
guys in the surf shop. So
Yeah.
he's like it's funny to share those
It's
things.
a proud daddy moment.
Oh my gosh, that is
Dad.
classic.
Yeah, he wanted to go into
Panties.
Victoria's Secret.
The way he was saying it, because you were like, panties. Panties.
Oh,
And we were just like,
I
wow.
was really cracking up.
Oh, so
Super
that's-
grown.
So good.
So boom, 10 years old, you're hyped.
Yep.
Did you tell your dad, hey, this is it. I
Yeah.
get my own board. Like I want to start surfing.
Yeah. That was it. So from there, it was like, at that time, my mom and dad worked at Huntington Surf and Sport. My mom was doing accounting,
Yep.
and then my dad was doing mine.
Yeah.
They'd pick us up from school, and like half the times we just roll in the office. And at that time, Darren was still there and still one of my dad's like best friends. And he had this A39 hanging up on the wall.
The Saku.
Yeah, and a Saku. And
Come full circle.
yeah, I know, it's so weird because I literally got a board that was a Merrick that I had no idea that a Saku shaped it. It's one of my favorite boards I have right now.
Yeah, I had a lot of good
Like,
And I just
Sakus.
got one, and then he was like, is his initials EM?
yeah,
And I was like, yeah. He's like, I go Saku Murata.
yeah.
And he's like, dude, I need his number.
Yeah. Well, I got this like Merrick that one of my friends gave me. It was a stock board at HSS,
Wow.
and I've had it for like 3 years. It's one of the
Yeah.
best boards I've ever ridden. And then I emailed them like, who is this EM guy? Like, who shaped this thing? It was a socket.
Yeah.
But pretty funny.
That's insane.
The hidden gem.
Yeah.
So there was an A39 sitting in the rafters.
Yeah. So that thing was like sitting up above Darren's desk, and
Kid like size or
it was
still
like
big?
a 6.0. But it
still
was,
pretty good.
That
size.
was 2002. So
Was it thin or was it
it
like?
was thin. It was narrow. And
So it
tons of
wasn't
rocker.
your dad's or Saenz or
No.
or
You know what? Pops at that time though was riding those boards.
No, he wasn't.
I know he fully was. He fully was. Like he had docks that were all knifed out.
Yeah.
We all were.
was riding.
I,
boards like that.
JJ was like, why are you guys riding such long boards back in the day? And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's just what we rode.
The
Yeah.
little genie slippers.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that thing was hanging there, and then Darren's like, just take that out. And then my dad just took us to like, it was before Bolsa Jetty was built, just right by Sea Point, and he'd take me and my brother out, and, like kind of push us in a little bit, and then he's like, hey, just paddle, catch your own waves. And, which is sometimes almost better because
Yeah.
you just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then, I just started surfing, and we were going like once or twice a week. And then I was like, Dad, I want to go before school. Like, I was only in like 4th grade, and nobody in my school was surfing at that time, maybe besides Taylor Pye, who's a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I'll take you before school, no worries. And like, was doing that. And at that age,
What is that? 11, 12?
that was 10.
10.
Yeah, that was 10. And then that Christmas, I got a brand new dock Christmas Day, and that was like epic.
Were you surprised or did you
I
custom it?
I was super surprised. It
So
was
your
like-
dad had it made.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had it made, and I woke up Christmas morning, and I was like, got the sick blue dock. It was a 6.0, it was long, and I was like,
Was blue your favorite color? Or
yeah,
what?
I was like, yeah, it was my favorite color, and I'm like, oh,
Because that's
this is
hard, to
insane.
pick out like a graphic or whatever, but if
Yeah.
you can just nail the color, it's like, that
Yeah.
helps.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. So So yeah, that was the start of that, and then I just started surfing more and more and more, and then like by the end of that year, I kind of met a bunch of kids that started surfing, and I started going to the pier, and like from there it kind of took off.
So how was it for you? Like, where was your spot in the beginning? Where were you?
Kind of like, yeah, Sea Point and Blackies, and like that was kind of it for like the first maybe like 6 months or a year. And then my dad was like, "Hey, you're ready to go surf like down the beach on north side or down the beach on south side."
Yeah, down the beach.
Yeah, or cliffs,
Yeah.
or like, you know, I mean, I think still at that time it was like kind of like earn your stripes.
Yeah.
It's like go surf the pier.
Yeah, because people know who your dad is.
Yeah.
Right. And your dad's mellow. Like, he's never.
No, he's not aggressive.
You know, he's not a Jay Larson aggressive guy. But people respect your dad. He surfs well. So if you're his son, he's taking you around to places. You know, some places though, if he's not there,
Yeah,
you know, you're gonna experience, you know,
Yeah.
localism or
for
whatever.
sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did you feel that even though you were Hagesun's son?
Um,
at that, I feel like still that time is so different than today.
So different.
It's so
Well,
different.
Yeah, Jay's not in the water as much.
Yeah. Well, Saenz never really surfed the pier. He was always like
Down the
living
beach,
like
yeah.
down the beach.
Yeah.
You know, like Tower 3 to 5 or
Yeah.
4 to 6 or
Yeah.
like, you know, cliff, some, you know,
Oh.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like you were probably in the most aggressive like areas, but it's
Yeah.
still crowded back
Yeah,
then.
for
And,
sure.
and when you're a Grom, you're still in the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Totally.
So you were earning your way
Yeah,
to closer to the pier kind
for
of
sure.
ripper.
Getting more comfortable in the water.
Yeah.
Did junior guards that summer, and then mom was like, "Hey, you know, I'm at HSS. You got to do 2 years of junior guards before you go surf by yourself with your buddies."
That's cool.
So that was like
That's
that,
cool.
That was cool because
Yeah.
I did it. I felt water safe, and at that point, by like 11 or 12, I was surfing every single day, nonstop.
And we got to give props to your parents, Chris and Kathy Saenz. They're like the epitome of like perfect parents.
They're
Right?
great people.
They're great
Yeah,
people.
they're
Like,
awesome.
we aspire to be as good as freaking parents as they
Yeah.
have.
No, thanks.
Like
They're
your
amazing.
like your dad is still one of the boys and is still a guy.
Yeah.
And when you get him like outside of, you know,
Yeah.
when you're not by a bunch of big ears,
Oh yeah.
he's the best.
Oh, I
You
love-
know?
He's the best. He's got
the
the
best.
greatest sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like
He works his fucking ass off.
I was
Yeah.
just trying to say that in a very nice
Yeah.
way because we all are
There's my beautiful
Yeah.
wife.
Hi.
shit talkers.
Hi.
How you doing?
What's
It's
up?
hot in here.
I know it's warm.
Open up some windows.
Well, we were worried about the air show.
April, you met Christian Saenz
Yes,
before, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Is the window open, honey?
No, because the air show's going on.
I think I haven't heard it in a while. It's okay.
All right, so going back to you.
Frothing every day. You got 2 years of guards under the belt. Now you can just kind of have free reign on surfing.
Yeah. And now I've got buddies that are like frothing and ripping.
Who are your surf buddies?
At that age, by the time I was like 12, it was Eddie Ellis.
Eddie Ellis.
Yeah, he lives down the street. from
Yeah.
me. He was
Eddie and
surfing
Johnny.
super well. His younger brother Johnny, and then my brother was basically started surfing at the same time I did. So I had like a built-in like, hey, let's go surf, and he was psyched too.
Yeah.
You know? And he was
Yeah.
only 6, and I was 10.
Dang.
So that was cool. I was hanging out with Eddie. I made friends with like Kyle Kennelly
Yeah.
at that age, and Matt McMullen, and like just a couple like really good kids that were psyching to surf, and they
Yeah.
surfed better than I did, and it pushed me. So it was cool.
What elementary school were you going to?
So I actually went to Huntington Christian from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade.
Right there, bro.
Private school.
See, great
uniform,
parents.
button up, the whole deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy. And then I went to public high
See.
school.
You went to Huntington.
I went to Huntington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you start wanting to do contests or?
Yeah, the contest thing's hilarious. So, I was biking down with my mom and dad to like Golden West, and I think there was like a Volcom contest at that time, and I was probably 11. And so I'd only been surfing for like a year and a half, and I look out and I was like, Dad, I want to do these contests.
Wow.
And my dad's like, you're gonna get freaking smoked.
Straight up telling you.
Yeah.
Straight up, like, and I was devastated. I was like riding my bike back, like tears down my face, and I was so pissed off. I'm like, I'm gonna freaking
I
prove
love
him
Bogdan,
wrong.
dude.
I'm gonna prove him wrong. Like,
And he probably didn't say it in a like condescending
Oh no,
way.
he said it.
he sent it. He was like, "You're gonna get smoked, dude. These kids."
But honestly,
yeah, he was.
like,
he
he
was
was
on it.
being-
It was no filter.
yeah, no filter. You're gonna
Yeah.
get smoked.
Yeah, he's like, "These kids smoke you," and I was so pissed.
I can literally hear.
Because we know him.
yeah,
and we know.
I can literally
Yeah.
hear how he would say it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe give
Hey.
you a chuckle, like, "Psh, yeah, you're gonna get smoked.
Yeah,
like
yep,
that.
straight up. And my mom's right there, and she's nudging him like, "Chris, stop!" Like, and I'm devastated. And then that, like,
It's the best thing he could have done.
well, that kind of fueled the fire because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna prove that wrong. Like,
Yeah. That's all it takes, right?
I'm all sign me up for the next comp then. Let's go. Like,
I play the Jedi mind shit on my son too. I'm like, just little jabs here and there.
but it's so
Like this
funny.
and like straight up, like, I mean,
Yeah.
he probably had every right to say that
Yeah.
at that time because I was only been surfing for a year, and
yeah.
he was just like, hey, like, just.
But come on, that age group in that division, there's nobody's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody's.
And a Vulcan series contest probably draws a lot of really good ripping kids.
Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
mean, then like the first
For sure.
rounds, no, but like later on, it was
Yeah.
in the afternoon. And he saw these kids ripping,
Yeah.
and it was like Kyle Kennelly before I knew him, and I'm
Yeah.
like seeing all these kids, I'm like, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that started it, and then I'm like, hey, just sign me up for the next one. And at that time, HB Surf Series was going on, so that was like my first real comp.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Seth and Bebop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was like the first year they launched that. And
Gosh, I wish we had something like that again.
that comp was so sick.
Yeah.
They had all the Del Taco you wanted. It was a good vibe, and they had Pro-Am, they had Groms. It was just like, I
Yeah.
almost felt like it was like a board riders vibe before
Yeah.
board riders. Like, it was a really good
With
camaraderie.
Yeah.
money, right?
It had money. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
for
at that
sure.
time, like, Del Taco was opening, and they're trying to throw money at it, Like,
Yeah,
it was a
I-
really cool series.
Yeah, I did a handful of but I don't know. I think when that was going on, I was just like working and kids and
Yeah.
and whatever. But I
I
did a
think I
couple.
kind of started surfing, like, as you were phasing out. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember you doing some of those, like, towards the end. And
Yeah, I did a couple.
Yeah,
And
so-
they would have an air show or something like.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Lyndon's opening up.
The first ever Monera box. I just
it's
picked
Chris-
up.
guys, ready. It's Christmas time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the new Santa Barbara to Mexico sales rep for Monero wetsuits.
look at that.
Wow. All right, we'll do this later.
That's amazing.
I'm psyched.
Sign up to our Patreon account. You might be winning one of these next month or two.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You like that?
Monero wetsuits.
We're gonna be giving away one of those bad boys for sure.
Hell yeah.
Probably linen size, like extra small wide.
Extra large short. Extra large short.
Yeah.
So you do HB Surf Series,
Yep.
and how are you doing?
My dad put his foot in his mouth. I was so mad, and I was like, I'm gonna prove him wrong.
The first contest.
First comp, and I was just like,
You made the finals, or
I made the final. Yeah, I was stoked.
how do you like that, Hoggy son?
And he was like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I was stoked.
Do you remember him saying that?
Well, yeah, and you were in all the videos back in the day, but
Yeah.
like at that time, Momentum Under the Influence came out, and that was like,
The video.
oh, that was
Yeah.
like VHS tape all day. And I remember watching CJ do these huge roundhouses, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do one of those in my heat. And I did it. I got the score, and with the final, he's like, I guess you're ready. And I was like, yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that got me
And
super
th-
motivated.
yeah, and like you said, those events had such a great like community vibe because they
Yeah.
were local events, and
Sure.
yeah, you would draw some guys from like Newport or
Totally.
Seal and
Yeah.
everything, but like the sponsors, the goodie bags, it's at one of your local spots. It's either
Yeah.
at mostly 9th Street, maybe occasionally get a permit for Southside, sometimes
Yeah.
go West, but it's all the spots you surf too.
Yeah, it was cool. It was on Southside. That was my first like real event. It was rad. And then I started doing NSSAs after that.
Yeah.
So that kind of started it. He's like, hey, you could do these, and Pops didn't compete. He was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, Dad's from Garden Grove. He was always a free surfer.
Yeah.
Just kind of did his thing. So he didn't know a lot about competing, but obviously he was a good surfer.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I guess we do these NSSAs and kind of just figure it out. And that's kind of where I started competing.
So you
That's a
started-
big jump, though. Like,
Yeah.
because there's
Talent level.
there's WSA, there's CCL, there's a few other organizations that like put
Yeah.
on events, but like if
Sure.
if you want to get sponsored and you want to be some, like
Yeah.
compete against the best, you're going to NSSA.
What did you get in that first final?
I think I got last, but I made the final.
Yeah.
I was stoked.
That's a huge
Hey, cool.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
For
Got a
being
goodie
the first
bag.
one.
Yeah, I got a goodie bag.
Got
got a
all
little
sounds like,
trophy.
"Huh."
I'm at Del Taco taking a photo. Like, this is sick. Like, I was stoked. So that was cool.
So who were your first sponsors?
I
HSS, come on, bro.
HSS, yeah, but like first real sponsor was O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like
Through
Garth,
Darth or
Garth and Ted Robinson.
Nice.
Yeah,
Epic.
so that was when I was like 12, and then when I was 12, I got a bunch of sponsors like O'Neill, Vans, Electric. Like it kind of just happened.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, and you earned them, and not because you were Chris Saenz.
Yeah, my dad's like, hey, he would tell guys like, don't put them on, but just
Yeah.
put them on.
Don't brown nose me.
No.
Yeah.
no.
I'm gonna sponsor your kid. Can we get a little extra buy next
Yeah,
season?
yeah, exactly. But Ted was like, Ted had just moved from the South Bay at that time, and we became friends with Ted. He
Yeah.
was like, kind of like a second dad.
Yeah.
Like I spent a lot of time with Ted.
Such a good waterman and a good human and pure.
Competitor.
Like,
I just looked up to him. I was like, this guy surfs every morning. He's rad. He knows how to ride every board.
He's a switch footer.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's just like, he's a beast. I still, to this day, I'm like, I still want to aspire to be like Ted Robinson.
Yeah.
He's just epic.
When we had Ted on, it was like,
I listened to that episode and I loved it.
Yeah.
He's just so,
he's
He's
just
a
a
waterman,
fucker. He's an
he's-
eternal ground, like we
yeah.
all are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
he's
just
insightful, he's smart.
yeah.
He's just an all-around amazing dude.
yeah.
Cheated on his report card.
Yeah.
Him and Kelly Gibson.
Yeah, yep.
Pretty amazing.
That was
I
so
remember
good.
that. That was classic.
But so O'Neill Vans, did you have to? Was it contest results, and did you have to do a portfolio? Or
Yeah, I did like a little portfolio, and that was classic back then. I mean,
Yeah.
just little like,
Yeah.
flip pages, and then like, hey, you're on O'Neill, and I went to the factory, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah.
It was so
For
special.
wetsuits and clothing.
For wetsuits and clothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about this a lot. It's like that first sticker on your board,
Yeah.
that first box of goodies. You're just like
Yeah.
tripping.
For sure.
And you're what, 12 years old? You
I
said.
was 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like you're going to school, going, damn.
yeah, you're like head to toe, new gear.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
you're wearing a uniform
Yeah.
at HCS, but
Yeah.
we're still like,
There's a
Yeah.
there's a sticker on my folder. There's a sticker on
Oh,
my
yeah.
bike. There's a sticker on my skateboard.
Yeah.
There's a sticker on there.
it's like almost
everywhere.
the best branding ever for the brands.
yeah,
Because you're showing up and you're just decked out. And
Yeah.
even if you're wearing a uniform, like you said, it's on your folder,
Everywhere.
binder.
and those
And you're
You're
pumping
drawing
it up.
surfboards with the logos on it. It's classic. Like, it's cool.
brand names, those companies are like the who's who of
Yeah.
what you want.
And at that time, like, they had the gnarliest team.
Yeah,
It was like, Gurr was still on, Corey Lopez,
Oh,
Brett, Timmy, like,
for O'Neill.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was like the brand. Super Freak just launched. Like, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, I write for the best brand. So it was cool.
yeah. What boards? Docs?
I wrote docs from like probably 10 years old to about like maybe 14.
Yeah,
Yeah. I kind of jumped around on some boards.
yeah.
But
Which is
he was,
good.
that was honestly like such a cool relationship,
Yeah,
because it was like the kids went to school, Amber was always around,
Yeah.
and then I'd go to the factory and Doc was like, hey, come check out your board, get
Yeah.
shaped, or getting, like, that was super cool.
Doc and Amber are the cutest couple in the surfboard
Yeah.
industry.
The rad.
And it's when you're a surfer and you just back, I don't know, I'm sure they still do it. You put a custom order, they
Yeah.
have the order form,
Yeah.
and it just goes off, and then the board, in
Yeah.
6 weeks. But when you could go and see
Yeah.
how a board's being built, and you're there, and they're telling you stuff that you don't even know what they're telling about, but yet you're just
You have no idea about
you're-
concave, but they're like, hey, here's you know,
and
it's
that
cool.
whole, I mean, it's a crafts. It's just, you know, they're just such craftsmen, and
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into a board that you don't really
Yeah.
see. And when you're a kid, it just makes it that much special.
Oh, yeah.
like
For sure.
And I mean, if you're really in love with surfing and surfboards and the whole art of
Yeah.
it, to get that insight on what concaves are,
Yeah, totally.
or boxy rails, or
Yeah.
knifey rails, or swallowtail channels,
Yeah.
like learning all those things that make a board work or not work
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
that's like golden.
that, and just giving the feedback to the next board you're going to get,
Yeah.
you know, to improve on what you've already had.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, I don't know, Doc's super talented on air sprays, but they're like air sprays, and when you're a kid, and like, I mean, that's a huge selling point.
Oh,
like
those-
Lost
yeah.
and Doc, and there's a handful, you know, of like artists,
Yeah.
airbrushers that are like,
That was like almost why I wanted to ride some docks too. Like every board was sprayed,
killer.
and they were so sick.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were riding. You were riding.
I rode them for a long
Michael
time.
was riding them.
yeah,
Nichols.
Nichols.
Like it was a cool crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edinburgh was riding. Like,
Yeah.
So I was stoked to ride them.
Yeah.
So.
So how long did you do those contests, and how did you do?
So I did NSSAs all the way through pretty much
High school.
senior year of high school, and it was a really insane group. All those guys pretty much made the tour that I competed against,
Damn.
so it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I had a good amateur run for sure. Like
Who did you compete with?
it was gnarly. Nat Young, Kalohe Andino,
I've heard of those guys.
yeah, Luke Davis, Connor Coffin, Parker Coffin. Nationals come around. Zeke Lau would be there. John. It was like
So you're in that age,
I was that age.
in that bracket.
Yeah. Some of those guys were maybe a year or two younger than me, but they were in the same division.
Yeah.
You know.
They were always surfing like, I'll surf my division and I'll surf.
Yeah, and they'll surf
and
And I mean, there were so many guys. There's like Brent Riley was super gnarly at that age, and he's from San Diego. And Dane Zahn from the South Bay. Like the list was endless.
Yeah.
My generation, I think, had like the biggest surf team class actually at Huntington too. It was just like there were so many surf kids, and the
Where-
talent pool was crazy.
where was the nationals at?
So they did it at lowers all the way through my junior year. And
Yeah.
my senior year, they switched it to HB because that was in 2010. They lost the permit, and then Surfing America champs got that deal. But yeah, it was, and gosh, Andrew Doheny was next level
Oh my
at that
gosh.
age. So yeah, I kind of like started doing that. I was 12. I was doing the Explorers and the Opens, and I did pretty good. Like I almost made like every final, which is rad. And then I'm seeing these guys. I'm like, dude, Chloe's next level. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy. So it was cool to be a part of that. And there was times I beat them, and I was stoked. I'm like, these guys smoked me, and I beat them in heat. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. And then I would say like around like 16, I started doing really good. That's when I started winning a bunch of comps, and then like I won Open Men's Conference 2 years in a row. Like that was like the first guy since current. So that was sick. Like that
Wow.
was huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially because
And Open is like the
Yeah.
division. Explorer is like a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, more
Lesser, but-
lesser. Like, you know, it's not as crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did six
There was
man.
6
It was
man
4
in
man
Explorer, and
and
then
4
they were
man.
doing 4 and Open.
Yeah, 20-minute
And,
4.
yeah, it's definitely hard when you jump ages too. Like I kind of did really good really early, and then like I stepped up to men's, and I was kind of like the younger guy in it. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
So were you guys like doing what everybody does now, going to lowers all the time? Back in the day?
not to the extent of now.
Yeah.
It was a whole other level. But
Where were you guys like?
we were at the pier. You know, I think what really helped me was DSC launched, which was Kevin Dean's like workout program. So that was like a huge group that inspired me to get better. That was like Sean Ward, Brett, Yeomans, like all the best kids. And there wasn't a ton of like coaching at that time, but he'd film us every single day. And then we do like a video review like every other Friday. And that was just like a cool group to be around. They
What's
were
the guy's name?
Kevin Dean. We used to
DSC.
train DSC.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like a gym.
We used to train at the place he used to train at, Fitness Addiction,
Yeah.
downstairs.
Oh wow.
And then we moved to the Hyatt. But that was like a really, really cool group that helped inspire all of us. And,
I kind of remember.
yeah, like he was taking us to lowers and like, you know, we were surfing Southside and lowers and going down to, Silver Strand's firing. Let's go up for the day. Like,
Yeah.
that was a really cool group. That pushed the envelope for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, going back to the contest side of things, like just being there on the weekend and seeing the caliber of surfing, like you're not wearing a jersey
Yeah.
most of the day, maybe 20 minutes once or
Yeah.
twice a day, but the whole other free surfs on the side, you just want to oppress and one up and do something cool in front of some other kid
Yep.
that you know is the best from that town or whatever. And,
Yeah.
and then to have something like that for your local, you know, Kevin Dean, right? You
Yeah.
know, and getting those best guys
Yeah.
together on like a consistent basis just pushes. I mean, we're in Huntington, so it's
Yeah.
always really competitive.
Yeah,
No
for
matter
sure.
like, you know, talk about Santa Cruz or San Clemente or some of these other
Yeah.
spots, but you know, to go out in your like local beach break and be able to like have that caliber of surfing every day
Yeah.
it's huge. You know, that's why is Huntington's not the best spot, but why do a lot of good surfers come out? I think the drive and you see so much good surfing,
Yeah.
you know, kind of pushes, you know, people to like elevate.
It's
So-
still one of the best surf spots.
Oh, for sure.
Most consistent. It's
Yeah,
one of
I
the
just
best
mean we don't
training
have
spots.
like reefs and points and like big waves, but you know, it's just beach break, you
Yeah,
know,
for
which
sure.
everybody knows. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the best.
What does
That's great.
GSC stand for again?
Dean Sports Consultants.
Okay.
So that was just what was cool about it was, you know, Brett and those guys are like 7-8 years older than I am. But they do video review and I'm like, dude, I'm seeing Brett in the same session I'm at. I'm 16, he's 24, whatever it is. And then now you're like looking at, there's the level, and then I'm going to these comps on the weekends and I'm seeing Kalohe and Connor and all these guys and I'm competing against them. And it's, you just, the level kept rising.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
really cool. So.
So what about like surf trips and stuff? What was your first surf trip?
I started traveling pretty young. I'd say probably like first surf trip was actually with the Pies and Mike Amelia and Pops in Cabo
Cabo.
at 11 years old.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cabo's so rad.
yeah. So we did like 9 palms. We scored. It was super fun. And,
Shipwrecks.
yeah, all that whole zone.
Yeah, there's a couple little misto spots.
Did you
kinda
get
that aren't-
estuaries? You ever got estuaries?
It was too high tide. We went to Pacific side and surfed.
Los
Cerritos,
Cerritos, Santa
Cerritos,
Cruz.
yeah.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like my first surf trip, and I was stoked. And I just got like, I remember this one day I got so sunburned. My dad like forgot to put sunscreen on the back of my legs, and I was wearing a long sleeve string, and my skin was bubbling.
Oh no.
And it
Yeah.
was so gnarly.
Yeah.
So gnarly.
I've had
So hot.
some of my funnest surf sessions have been with Saenz and Darren at
Yeah.
Los Cerritos.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that was the jam. You got that.
So
Yeah,
fun.
then
Yeah, every
they went from
summer.
Cabo to elevate to
Yeah.
Mentawais and Fiji and
Yeah.
like other
Yeah.
spots, Galapagos.
So rad. So yeah, that was like my first trip, and then I started traveling a bunch after that. And then in high school, it was like all the time. I was riding to school for like 3 weeks one time. She's like, oh, photo trip here, and you're going here, and we did like Costa, Indo, Mex. I did Fiji twice. We went to J-Bay when I was a freshman. Like it was just great. I was
Crazy.
traveling so much.
Yeah.
Which also helps improve your overall like surfability.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
like surfing your only spot at
education.
home. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you take all the, you know, educational side. I mean, yeah, of course, the culture and
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and just being out there, like the travel is
Yeah.
that's one aspect of it.
For sure.
But surfing like different speed waves, different reefs,
Yeah.
spots that are, you know, way more, you know, consequential, like,
Yeah.
you know, and being able to get comfortable in all those types of conditions,
Yeah.
I mean, really elevates. I have a brother, he's 4 years older.
Yeah.
And I just was lucky enough to hop in, and he was like
Yeah.
the weekend warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, yeah, Santa Barbara, San Diego, Lowers, this, you know, wherever. I just sit in the back, and I wake up, and we're at a new spot, like,
Yeah.
you know, like a little Grom.
That's really how you
And it
learn
did
to
help.
get better.
But then also the contests were all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the NSSAs took you from Imperial Beach to Santa Cruz.
Yep.
You know, and you're surfing all these random spots. But
Yeah.
like your first trip was Cabo.
Yeah.
And like that is a pretty easy like
Oh yeah, it's like
2 hours, no
Yeah.
time change, like,
Yeah.
and then you're going to like Fiji or South Africa,
Yeah.
and those places are like, what's day is night, and what's
Things
night's
changing all
day,
the
and
time.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
That's
that was a whole different thing. I went to Fiji when I was 12.
dang.
Damn.
So that
The
was
tabby?
pretty sick. Tabby.
Yeah. With the pies and
Hawaii
that whole-
just
yeah.
It's pretty rad. Yeah,
Christmas
just me-
week?
ju- yeah, Christmas week. Just me and Pops. Just go like that. My mom and my brother and sister stay home.
Yeah.
He's like-
Later.
Yeah, he's like, come on, let's go to Tabby. So that was sick.
Yeah, it's
And-
expensive to bring 5 there.
Yeah.
Let's just bring the ones that surf.
Yeah, we had a blast. It was cool because we got to connect. And it was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still haven't made it to Tabby.
it's the best place on the planet.
Ugh.
I don't know. I think South Africa's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You could probably
There's a lot of good spots
test it out.
everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good spots.
So did you ever have a high school job or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked at Hunting Surf and Sport for a few years, and I started getting paid from Hurley. So I was like, I'm out. I'm gonna go pursue this.
Pursue pro surfing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't remember you riding for Hurley.
Oh,
I
yeah.
rode for Hurley for a long time.
Okay.
8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I rode for O'Neill from like 10 to maybe like 12 or 13. And then I went on a trip to Fiji, that Fiji trip. Brandon Gilmet was on that trip, and he just started working for Hurley. And he's like, hey, we want you. Like,
Wow.
come over to Hurley. And
Who's also from Huntington
yeah,
HSS.
for sure. And Brandon was still is one of my good friends.
Yeah, right. We, as a team manager, you're like, you want the best, hottest kid in like each town. At least that's how it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
it used to be.
Totally.
You know.
You get the local hero.
And
But-
Hurley
but-
was kind of on the up and up at that
But,
time.
Yeah.
but not even just that. It's like, you got to have the contest record at the time. That was
Yeah.
kind of a big thing. I mean, there was that free surf, like,
Yeah.
kind of aspect to it. But it's also like when you get to hang with, Gilmet's and older,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
not, you never hung out with them probably.
No.
And now
he's like 10 years older than I am, and I get to hang out with him.
yeah, it's one thing to see somebody in the water, but when you're on an intimate island and you're hanging out and you're like, dude, this kid rips and he's cool, and again, going back to being cool and having
Yeah.
a personality and being like,
So-
he'd be a great ambassador.
How old were you when you signed with Hurley?
I think 13 or 14.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it was amateur.
Amateur.
Okay.
I was Grammy still.
Okay.
And then I rode for them until I was 20 or 19. So for a while, like
Yeah.
maybe 6 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How old were you when you turned pro for him?
I mean, right out of high school, I was almost 19. So I rode for them for a little bit longer, and then I went to Fox. So.
Yeah. So when you turned pro,
Mhm.
you had to negotiate contracts or what?
I did all the negotiations by myself
Yeah.
from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So like I remember even riding for like electric.
I want 12 items, not 8, or I'm out of here.
I want 6 stickers.
I want the
It's gonna
22
go
inch
over here.
stickers, not the
big
like.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna go 12 inches down from the nose.
But Pops wasn't like really familiar with that stuff. He was like,
Yeah.
just run it, do
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
like
Which is how it should be.
it actually taught me how to kind of grow up and figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, because he's like, hey, just deal with that. Like when I switched from O'Neill to Hurley, I think it was more just like, hey, he's super stoked on Hurley. Like Brett was my idol at the time. He bounced
Yeah.
from O'Neill to Hurley, and I was like, oh, this is a sick brand.
Yeah.
Brandon was showing interest. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go over there. And it was just like an incentive package. And then I started making all these finals, and I made some money from it. And they're like, hey, we're gonna give you a travel budget. We're gonna do this. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of putting some stuff in my lap.
Yeah.
And then other people kind of approach after that. Like I rode for electric, and then Arnett calls me, and I'm like, oh man, what should I do here? I was young. I was like 15, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna do this unless if you pay me $100 a month. But like, thanks for the offer. Here's my resume.
Yeah.
And like, hey, we're in. Like, okay, cool. So I
So
did
you
all that by myself,
That's so amazing.
which was kind of cool. It taught me how to wheel and deal, and it
Yeah.
taught me how to grow up a little bit. And my first like introduction to like business aside from working for a shop.
Yeah.
Which is, again, as these sports, and I mean these sports because it's really only the action sports industry that
Yeah.
really start sponsoring kids at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's not like,
Yeah.
you
Baseball
organize,
or-
you organize sports, which
Nah.
is like, hey, you hustle and you're on a club team in high school,
Yeah.
and then hopefully you go to a college,
Yeah.
but like to be 10, 12, 15 and getting all this product and working out
Yeah.
like negotiations for
Yeah.
contests or photo
Yeah,
incentive and,
sure.
and get money. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you turned pro?
I'd say right out of high school, so I was like almost 19. But at that time it was different too because there were still pro juniors and they don't really, I mean, they just started those up again. But it was like, okay, do, you know, the NSSA, Surfing America Prime just started.
Huh.
That was like when I was a junior. And I did good at that. I think I got second. I won NSSA that year. And then it was like, hey, do the pro juniors, get your feet wet with these older guys because you could be up to 21. So a little bit older guys. Competition was harder.
Okay, pause, you guys. We got
That jet's flying.
we got air show going.
That's the sound of freedom.
America!
America.
I love America.
That was the caption at the Virginia Beach contest I was at when they come flying over in
Yeah.
Norfolk and
Sound
like
freedom.
yeah, two old dudes on this like bike path right in front. They're like, we're like, yeah, well, you know, because it's you don't see
Oh, no, yeah.
fighter jets like a few hundred feet above you. And they looked at us. They're like,
Yeah.
you know what that sound is? And I'm like, what? And they're like, the sound of freedom. And I was like, yes. I
Yes.
love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you're doing like NSSA Prime, like, or just NSSA, and then how does where's the US Prime events as your amateur still or
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that was still like that was my junior year. Yeah, that was my junior year, and they launched that, and I was like, "This is weird," because it was a brand new series.
Yeah.
But then it was like, "Hey, all the best guys are doing it," and then there was all these comps to qualify for the U.S. team, which I was training with those guys at the time, which that was sick too because it was all the best guys, and I was in all the workouts, and I never physically traveled with the team, but I did that.
And that I only bring that up because, like you said, it's
Yeah.
kind of a new thing and kind of
Yeah.
confusing. Like when we were kids, it's like there's a national team and then they would put a U.S. team together every other year.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like there wasn't all these different avenues. It was like
No.
you know,
Yeah.
you could be on the national team through NSSA,
Yeah.
or there was a U.S. team every other year that would go compete like in another
Yeah.
country, which is kind of like what the ISA is.
Yeah,
But now
yeah.
ISA seems like it's every year or.
Well, I think it is for different divisions.
Mm.
So they'll have I think junior ISI is every year.
Okay.
But I think the adults, like what we just had on the south side, is
Yeah.
every other. or
Yeah.
something like
Okay.
that. So
Yeah. See, I didn't know.
It's kind of confusing. But yeah, they launched that series.
I felt like there was an ISA last year.
Yeah, it's in El Salvador.
Yeah, there was. But I think that might have been because of COVID. I don't know.
COVID or
Yeah.
Yeah.
They needed to delay
oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in 2020.
I think it's supposed to be every other.
Yeah.
But like when we grew up, at least a little before me, it was kind of an NSSA national team was like the deal. Like everybody on tour, everybody on that team was pretty much guys on tour.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like that was it was the best. And the only problem was is you had whatever sponsors
Yeah.
that sponsored the national team is what you had. You had a big NSSA sticker.
Yeah.
And then whether it's Body Glove or OP or
Yeah.
you know Quicksilver or you know like you name it, like
Totally.
that was like your branding.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like, wow, it's kind of weird, you
Yeah.
know? But
But
cool.
a good environment to be in.
For
And,
sure.
Like that's kind of what I think they recreated. Like, hey, we're gonna do these Prime Series events, and we're gonna do like 6 events, and it was spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I've never been to Santa Cruz, and I ran an event at the lane. It was 12 feet of fire. It was like, this is sick. So those comps were cool because
Invite only type
yeah,
of
it's
deal.
invite
And,
only, like kind of best of the best.
kind of like a pro junior in a way.
Yeah, totally. It was like a mini Pro Junior. So I did all those, and that was cool. Did well on those.
They have money or no money?
There's no money, but PacSun sponsored it. They give you gift cards and you can cash them out. You go to the store,
Look at this guy.
give you cash. I'm like, yeah, sick. There's
Yeah.
my gas money to go.
Dang.
Yeah, it's like kind of cool.
Yeah, the money.
That works.
Yeah.
I was stoked. Yeah. So
So did you give the QS a run?
yeah, so like I did the Pro Juniors and I did good in that. I did like top 10 in North America all the way till I was almost 21, and then you're ineligible for those events. And then I did the QS for like maybe 2 years, and then stuff kind of changed, you know, like at that time.
What years were these? Like 2000?
So this was like I graduated 2010 from high school. I started doing the QS right after that, and I was still doing pro juniors for like another 6 months.
So 10 to like 13, 14.
I only did it till 2012, and then I started doing some QS events. I did good on some local ones, and then like went to Europe, got lost first round, like it was 80.
Yeah.
And then did good in some other ones, like go to the East Coast, make a couple rounds, and then at that time I rode for Fox. And
How'd you get the? How and why did you switch to Fox?
I think there was better opportunity at that time, just because Hurley was so heavy.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, hey, we want you to ride for us, but like I was looking at the list and I was like, dude, this is crazy. I'm not
That's like
getting love
with
here.
Julian and.
Yeah, well, I was like,
Chloe.
those guys were still on Nike at that time.
Okay.
But it was like Evan Geiselman, who was like, I was like the golden boy.
Yeah.
You know,
Wonder
and
kid.
Connor and Parker and you know, like Dane Zongo on the background and Dylan
Half of the
Perillo,
guys
like,
on tour.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna get love here, and they were super cool about it, and I negotiated a deal with Fox, and I was like, this is super unorthodox, but I'm gonna try it. It's probably the best opportunity for me to make a little bit more money and get to travel a bit more. And
Yeah.
Have a little bit more freedom and not
Bigger
Yeah.
fish in a smaller pond.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Because was CJ?
Chris Dremy
Chris-
was doing.
Yeah.
No, Damien was right in front.
Damien was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're
And
starting.
And Kalani.
Yeah.
And
Bruce wasn't yet.
No, not
no,
yet.
not yet. Yeah.
So that was like a cool. I jumped ship, went over there, and like right off the bat, there was cool opportunities. It was like, hey, we're gonna go on trips together, and you're gonna make more money. You've got a cool salary. You've got a travel budget. We're gonna let you pursue the QS for a couple years, and then it was kind of a trip because I did that for like a year and a half, and then I went in to like do my new deal with Chris Dremy, and I shook his hand. He's like, hey, we're gonna re-sign you for like 2 more years, and at that time I was 21, and then I left the meeting and got fired. So I was like, shoot, this is gnarly. Like,
Crazy.
my guy just got let go. I got an email the next morning on the way to a comp, like, hey, we're just letting you know, like, Chris got let go. And I'm like, shoot, that was like my bread and butter right there for the next 2 years. Like, this might be up in flames.
Yeah.
So they went super heavy into surf, and they hired Ina Karras for Billabong, and they hired Frankie DeAndrea for Nike. And they're like, hey, we're gonna kind of blow up the surf program. And I was already like mentoring some kids and coaching. And they're like, hey, we want you to actually come work for us. Like, you could ride for us if you want, but here's a job opportunity. You know, it's double the money of what you're making now. It's probably got a cool little foot in the industry right here, and you can still do some comps if you want. Like,
Yeah.
so I was like, hey, like, gosh, I'm 21, we're right after a recession. Like, I'm with my wife. We don't really have a lot of money. I'm living at home. I'm doing QSs. I'm like, this might be
Yeah.
a good option.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, if for some reason you start blowing up in events,
Yeah.
I'm sure they would be like, dude,
Yeah.
okay, like we'll find somebody else to go,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But it was like as a good kind of
Yeah.
like backup plan for
For sure.
for you.
Yeah, totally.
And obviously everything works out for a reason,
For
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
Like to get in the industry
Yeah.
that early,
It's kind of
is
heavy
great.
because, like, you know, if you want to be a pro surfer,
Yeah.
like that's a lifelong dream, right?
It really is.
Like
Yeah.
it like surpasses anything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what was really driving you?
Yeah.
You know, was it being a professional surfer, or was it just being a
Part of the
professional-
industry and
Yeah,
life.
part of the industry. Like
I wanted to be a
stepping
pro
stone.
surfer super bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got my nickname Grindzy. I would grind it out, and I worked harder than anybody. And
Yeah.
I sucked at first, and I was like, I'm gonna get good,
Yeah.
no matter what it takes. I'm gonna train harder. I'm gonna surf more. I'm gonna dial in my equipment. Like, I was so into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is, you know, admirable, you know,
Yeah.
and it's, and you wish, you know, a lot of people had that work
Yeah.
ethic at
Yeah.
the same time, but then you're like, well, you know, they might have more talent. You know, you look
Yeah.
at like
It's-
everybody has their niche, and you knew
yeah.
my niche is I could control what I could control, and what I
Totally.
could control is I could out hustle and outwork and
Sure.
out train.
And
Yeah.
honestly, like you have to be honest with yourself at a certain.
Oh,
point
for
in
sure,
time.
yeah. He's getting smoked
Like
by
you-
Kalohe every other event.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Totally.
you did the QS for 2 years,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, some of the events you didn't make it out of the first round.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that
that's-
first year is like the hardest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, I don't even know what boards to bring. Like, I'm just kind of like, no coach, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just like, you're just rolling up.
Yeah.
You know?
I-
And it's
I-
a roller coaster. Because like, I made a final one event, and then I'm like, oh, I lost 2 events in a row. You know, and you're kind of like
It's a
questioning.
roller coaster.
You're literally questioning yourself. You're like, I just made a final, and then I lost first round twice.
Yeah.
But
And that's the thing about like, okay, it's very true. Like the harder you work, the more better results you get.
Yeah, for sure.
But then there's other people that are just fucking more talented
100%.
or lucky.
and
Yeah.
or lucky and talented and they work hard.
One, I think you got to look at too, like, what opportunities are these people getting?
Yeah,
And that's what I,
afterwards.
well, I mean, during
too, yeah.
Because I'm looking at it going like, and you could always play the what if game,
Yeah.
but there's certain guys that it's like, hey, when Chloe was 14, that guy was traveling around the world. He's making a ton of money. He has access to everything,
Everybody.
The best of
everything.
everything.
the best of everything.
Of course, he's gonna excel.
He's gonna excel.
Yeah.
You know, like, and if you were given the same opportunity, you're gonna excel. But not that there's chosen ones, but it's just that's life.
No, there's chosen ones.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Kaloni is a
yeah,
chosen one.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, look what
he works hard though.
But
Yeah,
look what
for
he was
sure,
doing
like-
at, like you said, 14.
Yeah, he
you're
was
like,
smart.
he knew he was already
Yeah.
going to be a marquee player in the
totally.
surf industry for a
Yeah,
long
for
time.
sure.
Like, you're like, damn.
And there's always random ones too where you're like, oh, this guy could be super gnarly, and then they're on the brink of like quitting,
Yeah.
and then they make it. So
Yeah.
And it's what's crazy is like here you are, Hurley, Fox.
yeah,
You shake on a hand deal with Drummy. Next day he's gone, and Fox was putting a lot of effort
yeah,
in. I mean, Enoch is he's got a impressive resume,
yeah,
right?
totally.
And then the other guy,
Yeah, Frankie.
Frank-
Yeah,
yeah, he's got an
Yeah.
impressive resume too. So they're putting together
Yeah.
guys to take the
And they were
brand
doing
to-
the top. They're like, hey, we're signing Chippa.
Yeah.
We're signing Damo. We're doing this. Like,
yeah.
so it was a cool thing to be a part of. And then I was looking at it, and that's the most vulnerable time, I feel like. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm 21, and people are like, dude, you're blowing it. Go do the QS for the next 4 years. You freaking rip. Like, I got that for so long.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know? And then other people are like, I'm looking at it like, am I just gonna do this till I'm 28 and be roughing it out, living at home, or like, can I build a life?
Yeah.
So it's that crossroad.
You're
Where
at
do
the
you want
fork
to
in
go?
the road, yeah.
You know, and hey, if I chose that one,
And
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
already married too? Or?
no, I wasn't yet.
Yeah.
But I was with my wife.
Yeah.
No, but like you mentioned earlier, Lyndon, it's like being honest, but also like he was presented a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the dream that
Yeah.
you were hoping for yourself
Totally.
at that time of
Yeah.
being 21. Like, dude, I know I could do well if I just
Yeah.
can compete a little bit. I know I could make some heats, and who knows, maybe,
Yeah.
But how many of these
Yeah.
team managers or marketing or there's not a lot of jobs like
Yeah.
those that come up, and if
Yeah.
and if anything, it's like
You gotta choose wisely.
that for sure, but even if things don't work out, getting your foot in the door, getting that experience.
Yeah.
Like life's
So
about
what-
experience.
What did they present you with? A job with them doing what? Like
Team manager.
team manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I love that part. That's one of my favorite parts the whole time. I was thinking you guys should
Secret
do
little
a
silent
Dumber skit.
Yeah.
Where he's like, hey, Harry, old buddy, old pal. You gotta do an Ashland one of that. Hey, late night, old buddy, old pal. Care to have a little nightcap with me? And then just throw a little Ashland. For fast, effective fun. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
will.
it.
We got it.
Wait, why would you say Dumb and Dumber? Like I don't know the analogy that you're trying to put.
So team manager for Fox. And
Yeah, so
they said
I-
you could still keep surfing the
Make
contract.
twice as much
Yeah.
as he would have been
Yeah.
a pro surfer through them. So that's
Yeah.
like, and probably benefits.
Yeah.
What were you getting
security.
paid, if you don't mind us asking?
So I think like at that time with like Fox and everybody all in, I think I was making like travel budget salary the whole day, like around 40 grand.
40.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, that's cool for that age. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, that's like working full time.
If you're single and you're a surfer and
Yeah.
you're already milking it,
That's
like
what
that's
college
great.
graduates get,
Yeah, no, totally, for sure.
right?
No, totally. So I was stoked. That's like not just salary, but travel and
Yeah.
when it all panned out. That's what.
But that's still, I mean, again, like when you're single and you're 21 and you're surfing and you can make that, you can stretch that out quite a bit.
Totally.
Like that's good living.
For sure. I was stoked.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Were you working anywhere else, or you were?
well, I started coaching.
Okay.
So, and that was just like a full organic thing. It was really weird.
Is that the time when that started happening?
Well, I actually started coaching like a couple kids like right after I got out of high school.
Oh, really?
I just had people approach me like, hey, you're a really good competitor. Like, you're surfing well. You're a good kid. Like, I see the way you manage heats. Can you help my kid? Like, yeah.
Who?
Sure.
Do you remember who the first person
Well,
was?
actually, this like Jake kid from HB, he was like, I think going to Sours or something, and his dad's like, hey, I've heard a lot of good things about you. Would you help us? And then it kind of just like, grew. you know?
Organically grew.
That was actually part of the reason I got started working at Fox, because they were like, hey, we like see all these kids you're working with, and they're surfing really good, and we want to hire you. And I was only 21. It was just like a few kids, They're like, we want you to kind of groom some of these kids, and help build a Grom team and, do some other work too.
Yeah.
You're going to send out wetsuits and do, promo orders, and you're going to help us out with some like contracts on the Grom side.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's
Like,
right.
It was a good foot in the door for sure. And what was cool about that, even though they weren't top in surf, obviously, like, dude, they're insane in moto.
Yeah.
So to be around that environment, I learned a lot. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Go to market strategies to marketing and this. I'm like, dude, this is it's like college, but better.
It's a University of Fox.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they're a massive brand.
You're huge.
Massive.
Where was their office in
It was a
Irvine?
brand new office that the Google architect, like the guy who architected Google's building, did ours. It was a front of like moto goggles, and you walk in these doors. I'm like, this is the craziest.
Where was it at?
I've ever seen.
It sounds like Oakley.
It's like, it was kind of like Oakley.
Yeah.
It was like in between Tustin and Irvine, kind of like the Tustin Market Center right there. Huge property, motocross track on the facility.
Wow.
It was sick. So it was good energy, and I was like, I'm gonna get linked in with some really good guys in the industry. I could learn from Enoch and Frankie, and we ended up picking up a bunch of really good grounds. We got Caroline Marks.
She was writing for Fox.
Yeah. So they're like, the East Coast team manager calls me and he's like, hey, we got this girl over here. She's like 9, but she's next level. And I mean, no offense to the East Coast people, but sometimes they kind of hype some stuff up a little bit.
Plus 9's like,
Well, anybody that's
Yeah,
you're 9.
I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I always tell
okay.
everybody, like, wait till they hit adolescence.
Yeah.
'cause
And then
that's the deal breaker right there.
the older brother was ripping, and he was like, probably 14, something like that. And like, hey, fly over here. You're gonna meet the Marks family, and we were gonna go to a pro junior with like Nolan Raposo was on the team at the time. I picked up Nolan,
Sick.
and I went over.
He was
there.
a Grom then,
He was
too.
Grom,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was coaching him and helping him out, and then I rolled up, and we just walked out in front of Marks' house in Melbourne, in Florida, and Caroline was doing these tail high blowtails, like 9 years old, and I'm like, whoa, this guy was a kid. This is next level. What the heck?
She was doing that at 9 years old.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean,
On
I didn't
2
really-
foot waves. I'm like, this chick is insane. And they were like, oh, Roxy's trying to sponsor her. Lisa Anderson's all over. And I'm like, we'll see. And I was just pleasantly surprised. Like, this chick's the real deal. Yeah, pretty cool.
But you guys won the bidding war, or won the.
Well, I was, her brother wrote for Fox, and we had a good relationship with the family. And we're like, hey, we,
Here's what we can do.
yeah, we want to sponsor the daughter.
Yeah.
Just help you out. It was like a flow program, super mellow. And she just blew up.
Yeah.
It was insane. So,
That's so crazy.
That's-
cool. Flew over to California. First time she was in California, stayed at my house for 2 weeks straight.
No way.
Yeah. So that was like her first intro. So that was cool. There was a lot of really good connections at Fox.
Yeah.
And I got to mentor a lot of good kids and coach and help them out.
And
Really
it kind of
nice.
came easy to you, right? Coaching?
Yeah, it did for sure. Because I think any athlete, when you're trying to be the best you can be, you're just looking at what can you adjust to become better. And I wasn't the most talented person, and I had to work hard, whether it was school or surfing, whatever that may be. So I was almost in like a coach mentality from that age.
Yeah.
So
Now, when you
natural.
got approached by that dad to coach that kid Jake, right?
Yeah.
What did he say? Hey, I can pay like this much an hour, or
Yeah, I was like, hey, pay me. You know, at that time it was club. Like, pay me $40 an hour. You know, like, which was cool at 18 or whatever, 19
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
You know, a couple times a month. And,
Yeah, you don't want to be
yeah.
too priced out that we're like,
No.
they're done, you know, but you
No.
want them stoked. You're like, look, this could be a long term,
Yeah.
you know, and I guess it's hard too to kind of like put a price on your value and your time, but there's not a lot of you.
Yeah.
But there's also like, it's easy to scare off a
Yeah,
parent,
sure.
you know, like there's got to be that.
So
Fun,
did you like outline like a coaching
Well,
step
yeah,
by step, or?
it was just kind of like, so I worked with a couple coaches before, and like I worked with Kanga.
Kanga.
Awesome.
Kanga the May.
Yeah,
He taught
that's
me a
Ian
lot.
Carnes.
Yeah,
Cairns.
he taught me a lot about competing. So he helped me out big time because like I was kind of in this slump, and he got me out of it. And he's like a mental guy.
He's so
he will
mental.
break you.
He is a.
He will freaking break you.
Yeah.
He's so gnarly. I remember going out of lowers with him one time. He's like, all sitting in this group, all, you know, young, kind of think we're hot shots, whatever. He's like, hey, did any of you guys sign autographs on the way down here? He's like, bro, no. He's like, well, I freaking did. He's like, you guys ain't nothing. Like, it was gnarly.
It's so epic.
It was so epic.
Yeah.
We
like-
gotta pay credit and homage to those to
Yeah.
Peter Townend, and freaking Ian Cairns.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're, you know, I'm sure they did it for personal gains, but also like they did it because they wanted
Dude,
to
they're frothing groms like we are.
They wanted
but
to
they,
push
they,
the
But
sport.
they really
in the
did
industry.
pioneer it.
They
Yeah.
did.
Like, and Kanga was super cool to me. I
Yeah.
worked with him a couple times, and it was just like strategy and lineup spots, and I was like, this is cool. And mental attitude. He was like, you don't even let your friend borrow your wax. Screw those guys. Like,
Yeah.
it was gnarly. So it put me in a different mind state
Yeah.
when I was in heats, and then people would be like, dude, how do you do this in the heats? Because like I would just take away.
Yeah.
You know.
Because
Yeah,
like
it's a game.
Yeah.
Competitive is a game, and they understood that. They're like, dude, you got the ability, but it's you, the clock, and there's other people out
Yeah.
there.
I don't
you
know why
like,
Larson's even talking right now
Yeah.
because he doesn't know competition
oh my god,
or strategy and heats.
Oh
'Cause,
my
I mean,
god,
this guy, come on.
this guy.
He doesn't even know who Ian and Pete are.
Ian ran the Bud Tour
Yeah.
with his wife Alyssa the many years I was on it. So yeah, I know him very well.
But you never got coached by him, so
Yeah. No, I
So
did
yeah,
not. I probably should have.
Yeah.
yeah, you really should have.
he was good, man. He was really cool.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you know, when people think about surfing, they don't think about competition.
No.
You know, like for most people.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you like talk about surfing competitions, like it's so subjective, right?
Well, and sometimes the best guy doesn't win; it's the smartest.
Yes.
And that's where Kanga came in. He
Yes.
was like, "Hey, we're gonna outsmart competitors. We're gonna maximize time." Like,
Yeah. See, he's proven the point of
You know,
here again.
simple
not the
concepts.
best and not
Yeah.
and the smartest win. That's
Yeah.
why Larson never won.
You know
Because
what?
the smartest won.
If
but
they-
hey, when
if
you're
they-
laying down video parts, it
if
doesn't
they-
even sound. That's even better.
if the WQS was in locations like the WCT, I would have made it easy,
Yeah, for sure.
and I would have been on there for a long time. I'd
Well,
fly
that would
halfway
be-
around the world and be like
Labor.
2 foot.
No, I believe that.
2 foot, and I'm like, I just flew halfway around the world for and again, there's a lot of
The
tactics.
show's not about late night.
Yeah.
Bro.
You
We
brought it
gotta go
up.
back to
You brought it up.
Grindzy over here.
Yeah,
dude.
you brought it up, bro.
I didn't bring it up.
Hey, 5-star Nuki. All right, killer.
So you got your early kind of, I guess, strategies from
Kanga.
Okay.
Well, I had some simple things like, you know, through the years, like Ryan Simmons would. I wasn't really coaching with Ryan, but like
He'd give you some.
there'd be like a quicksilver workout. Hey, come down here today or whatever. And then it was like, D-ball a little bit, but it wasn't as like, focused as like a Kanga.
Yeah.
And then probably just because of like how the group setting was. Those guys are amazing people and coaches.
Yeah.
And then I flew to Hawaii when I was 18, and I started working with Chris Gallagher.
Galley.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Galley is, in my opinion, probably one of the best coaches on the planet.
Yeah. He would. I needed help, and at QS's, that guy would be in our corner. Him and Rapogel and D-Bod, Jake Patterson, all those guys. We'd all, you want to see your mates like
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
win, and they would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go sit here. Go do that. Here's the waves. And like those guys were tacticians, man.
I teach him because Galley, we know that Galley is a coach and mentor, but like I guess I didn't pay attention too much.
Dude, he won a ton of events.
He won Margaret River.
Yeah.
He's one of the only guys from Santa Cruz that ever qualified for the World Tour. He's Gooby Footer, which I was drawn to that.
Yeah.
And then he was coaching the Hobgoods, and the Hobgoods were my favorite surfers.
Oh.
And he had just kind of like gotten out of that whole routine with the Hobgoods. I think he was trying to spend some time with some family. And I went over there, and I was like, I'd still say to this day, like Chris Gallagher is the most inspirational person in my surfing
Wow.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Galley.
Gallagher's the man.
I'm gonna see him next week.
That guy's amazing.
Are you going to Hawaii next week?
Yeah.
So, and he was complete opposite of Kanga. So he was all technique, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy. This guy's telling me to put my arm here. He's telling me to shift my weight, and I learned so much, and it felt really weird at first. Like he's like, "Hey, it's gonna feel weird, but just trust me." And I was like, "Hey, this guy's legit. I'm just gonna trust him."
Yeah. That's so interesting to hear, the different schools of thought, right? And different styles of coaching.
Complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King is all about strategy and mental mindset, toughness.
Yeah.
Be more vicious and more aggressive, right?
And there was no priority at that time, remember too.
Yeah.
So that was a whole other game, and he was like, "Hey, you gotta be more fit."
Dog eat dog.
Yeah, he was gnarly.
Yeah.
And
And then Galley is
it's
technique.
the different.
Yeah.
It's their mentality, but it's also the era, that they kind of came from too. Because that's
Sure.
it's a little bit of blend.
Totally.
But they all, if you take a little bit of each,
Yeah, for sure.
and if you're able to, mindsight the guy, hey, improve your technique.
Yeah.
And these type of moves are going to score better. If you throw more spray because you're doing, there's a lot of little nuances to make,
For sure.
get higher scores and make heat.
Totally. So that was a really cool experience for me, and I feel like I have to pay homage to Galley.
Yeah.
He's an amazing person, and he helped me, and he helped a lot of my generation. But I was drawn to that probably more than any of my peers. I was like, this is so sick. So he inspired me.
I'm just going to talk and hype Galley up more because it wasn't even just the water and the health. It was just knowing the experience of going to places, where to stay, where to eat, make sure, you get the preparation of everything and all of that other stuff outside of the heat.
Yeah.
Because, again, they were a few years older than me and they were already established on tour and again, everybody kind of takes you under your wing when you go, you go travel.
Yeah.
And those guys were their program was tight.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Not just out in the water and technique, it was where to go and what to eat. They had everything dialed.
I mean, I was like,
wow.
To make it so they're comfortable.
For sure.
They don't have to worry in the back of their mind, worry about anything.
Yeah.
But surf a good heat.
He had it dialed, and I really trusted his opinion. And then it was everything from boards to food to this to that, and then one of the coolest things, I remember getting on the water and he's like, "Hey, I don't know how hard you want to push this, but if you want to, you can make the world tour. You're that good." And I was like, "Whoa, that's
Galley told you this?"
Yeah, I was like, "Dude, this is the guy I look up to." He said that to me, and I was like, "Well, that's pretty sick."
Yeah.
So that's where I put the foot on the gas a little more here,
Yeah.
more. So
And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of just pick me up, a little bit of push, and
Yeah.
when you know and you can value somebody's
Yeah.
opinion because you've been working with them and stuff.
For
You
sure.
know?
Yeah.
And-
So he did a couple trips out here. I did a couple out there, and then time went on. He ended up going with doing stuff with Jordy, and
Yeah.
he's insane. Though he inspired me, a combination of those three guys like Kanga and Gally and Kevin inspired me to be like, I want to be a coach.
Yeah.
You know.
But to be a coach, those inspire you, but you gotta have it like
It's not for
you got to be in like a teacher or
Yeah.
like a coach. We're talking about surfing, but a coach for anything. I got one kid that's into surfing, and I can barely handle him.
Yeah.
And again, it's a father-son mentality for sure. But I see you, and you're so great down at the beach with all the different kids or adults. He's got Lyndon. He's got
I know.
He's got
I've been in the sun. I need
he's
some
got
coaching.
adults, and I mean like almost some. I don't want to put an age on you because you
Oh,
got
dude, I've got some guys that are like 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
See,
So it's cool.
no, but
Yeah.
going back, that's just like to have that temperament, to have that patience, to
Yeah.
kind of work with people because it's not easy to get criticism, even if it's constructive criticism
Yeah.
or it's you got a good balance and delicate way of approaching it, which is why you're successful.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
So Fox, you become the team manager.
Yep.
You start developing a coaching business too alongside that?
Yeah, it was like I was coaching the athletes at the time, and then it was cool. Like some of the pros would come into town, like, hey, like I actually want to work with Christian.
Hmm.
What? That's sick.
For like the U.S. Open,
Yeah,
or
you
some of the
so
other,
like, hey, I
events?
got heats at Lowers. Can you come
Yeah.
down and film and just take a look at my boards? And I'm like, I'm young, and I guess they're trusting what I want to do.
Who was? do you
Like
know-
Keely Andrews, she's on the world tour. She's like, hey, I want to work with Christian. And I'm like, this chick's top 10 in the world. Like, that's kind of cool. She
Yeah.
wants to work with me,
Yeah.
and we ended up getting some results together. Got like third at a CT, fifth at a CT. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped build it even more. I started believing in myself even more. And then I worked with Fox until 2016. My wife was 9 months pregnant at the time. And we got like me and Frankie the same day. It was gnarly. Because I'm like, I just bought my first condo. My wife's 9 months pregnant. And
2016?
2016. And I'm like, man, my wife's like a week away from popping right now with my oldest son, Taj. And that was gnarly.
Did it come out of the blue?
Yeah, it was kind of out of the blue. I kind of walked in the office and they're like, hey, we're laying off the surf division. And I'm like, oh
Brutal.
my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I was still coaching people at that time. And then Cobian was like talking to me at that time, like, hey, you want to become a sales rep? And we were talking for like a year and a half almost. So we were like, oh, maybe I'll double dip. I'll do sales rep and I'll do team management, just because team manager job isn't a lot of money, and I want to have a family and I want to own a home. Like, I'm gonna have to kind of double dip here.
Yeah.
And it just like so happened that a spot opened up on their repping team, and they're like, hey, come join our team. Kind of their values aligned with mine, and I jumped ship over there and started working there. And
Well, they abandoned.
yeah, I
you.
didn't jump ship. I was in the water, treading water, like
Yeah.
Don't sink.
They didn't throw you a life preserver.
Yeah, I got into junior guards for 2 years.
that was a gnarly time.
Yeah.
There was a month there where they were like, hey, come down. And first time in a rep, you're on commission.
Yeah.
It's freaking January. Sandals ain't rocking. I
Yeah.
remember I got my first paycheck. I'm like, I made $300 and eating sunflower seeds in my freaking car. Like,
Dude, I don't know how I'm gonna pull this off.
but they took care of me, and they've always been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, going from the team marketing side
Yeah.
to sales.
Yeah.
Now you're in
And
the
you've never
shop.
rep before.
Never rep before. I've done some like retail tours with Fox, like with the reps, seeing how everything kind of goes on.
Yeah. And you worked at the shop.
And being around Ted, being around all these different reps, like
Yeah.
I know that I don't know what an RA is. I don't know what a PO is. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sell sandals, But
Yeah.
they mentored me, and it was really cool, and it still is awesome. And then, like a couple years in, I actually picked up this adult client who's a really good friend of mine now, and he like moved from Florida, and he's like, hey, I want help with coaching. And I was like, yeah, no worries, come down.
Is that weird when an adult wants to like?
No, I'm psyched on anyone who wants to better themselves.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, he's coming from a mentality. So up until that point, it's like he's got all these like
Yeah.
want to be superstar and groms, and then I didn't mean it was like. It is weird,
Yeah.
but I just didn't mean it the
I
way
think
you're
it's
thinking.
just-
I just
yeah.
meant like you're get somebody that's obviously affluent, has money, and just wants to improve. But like here you are as a coach, like it's mostly the younger generations that
Yeah.
are aspiring pros. You got somebody that just wants to be better.
Yep.
So that's my only.
The way you said it is really weird.
It did.
No,
is that
but-
weird? Is that weird?
I
But
think it was just getting in that mind frame, like, okay, I can work with these guys who
Yeah.
are older than me.
Yeah.
And he came down, and I started working with him. He started improving. And he just looked at me like, "Why are you not doing this full time? Or why are you not like?" And I was like, "I don't know. I haven't really ever looked at it like that, you know." And he's like, "Hey, you know what? Like, I design websites for a living. Like, let me just kind of help you." It just kind of changed the way I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
like turning it into proper business.
Yeah.
Like versus
He
word of
helped-
mouth and friends
yeah.
of friends and
He
like,
helped me launch
yeah.
So, can I ask you? Okay, you're working for
for Cobian.
for
at this time.
Cobian.
Yeah.
You're starting a rep.
Yeah.
You're coaching how many kids?
I'd say 25, 30 kids.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You're coaching that many kids.
Yeah. It's like starting to go, but it's
Yeah.
not like every single week. It's like, I got a couple kids, maybe doing once a week. A couple kids doing twice a week.
Yeah.
But it was growing.
Yeah.
It was like,
And you're charging at least
yeah.
$40 an hour.
I'm charging $100 for a private. I'm charging $60 for a group
Yeah.
or something. And
So you're starting to make decent.
I'm starting to make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. I made $5
Now-
this
now
month.
you-
Like, I'm stoked. Like, you know.
But did you talking about like business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get form an LLC?
Yeah. So.
Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, so at
Okay,
that
yeah,
time,
this guy's serious. Like you gotta,
yeah,
you gotta.
this is where this guy's like, hey, you should be doing this. I'm talking to my wife, and I'm really thinking about things, and I'm like, I've done this repping thing, like, I'm stoked on it. It's not the biggest money maker, and we live in the most expensive county on the planet. Like, I've got to figure out other things, and what am I passionate about? Helping people, and I love surfing. So it's kind of a perfect mold.
yeah.
And this guy just comes at me and just hits me with truth. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So I call up my CPA. I'm like, hey, I want to start a corporation. This guy's like, let's launch everything. He helped me do it. And ever since that day, it's just, everything's changed.
Yeah. I remember surfing Bolsa.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember if it was Bolsa Jetty or somewhere in Bolsa.
Okay.
And it was decent size.
Yeah.
Remember
How long
that?
ago was this?
It was a while ago.
Okay.
It was like maybe 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And the waves were kind of pumping,
Yeah.
and you were coaching
Yeah.
2 older dudes that
Oh,
were out
yeah.
in the water.
Yep.
And I was like, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
And then he's like, and you're like, just having a lesson, coach lesson. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Out here?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a good little zone.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
away from the crowd.
But they were like, 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
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 So you launched the site in like
Yeah, launched the site.
2019.
I'd say like 2000, probably 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then I just changed the mentality, and I'm like, I'm gonna actually create a business.
Yeah.
And started reading and started listening to things. And I was like, well, how do I create a sustainable business? How do I create a model that's not only gonna work for me, but help serve my clients the best I can?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
You need structure.
Yeah.
You need times. You need to work around people's
Yeah.
schedules. Like, hey, how do I make this work?
yes, exactly. So I felt like all the ingredients were there, but it was just like, hey,
Yeah.
put this thing in the oven and cook it.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah,
Orange
that's-
County Surf Coaching was born.
I was born. Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had been coaching since I was 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, I've technically been coaching for almost 12, 13 years, but I was like, put the stamp on it in 2018.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I find it, like fascinating. There's a ton of coaches throughout
Yeah,
the
sure.
industry now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them
A
are
bunch of our friends do it.
yeah, for sure. And you know, it's such a good way to, obviously, if you have that in you,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
like again, talking about like, you know, having the patience and the,
Yeah,
you know, the vision and all of that. But to, you know, you're helping people and you're giving back with the reward. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's got to be an awesome job.
It's amazing.
You know, like you're making money, you're providing, you're stoking out and improving people, and you're both benefiting from it because you're seeing the result, they're seeing the result. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty rad.
Yeah. Well, it's
I'm starting my own. I'm gonna do Tower 2, so I'm gonna take the pier to Tower 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
late night coaching.
Yeah, that might be, you know, maybe for adults.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So now that, okay, it's kind of crazy this day and age, right? You're coaching the younger I'm just talking about the younger generation
Yeah.
and aspiring pros, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's such a trip because being a professional surfer nowadays
Mm-hmm.
is so different
It's
from
so
what it
different.
was when you
Oh,
were
yeah.
trying to do
Oh,
it
yeah.
and Larson was doing it.
Totally.
Because I mean, the avenues of making money,
Yep.
contests, sponsors, magazines,
Yeah.
you know, video, like all those things that were like, okay, this is how
Yeah.
you get, you know, exposure and coverage and money,
Yep.
and it's all different, you know.
It's all changed, and
Yeah.
it's like anything. You just have to adjust.
I think the changes are you're kind of in more control with the way the social media in the world is now. You're kind of
Yeah.
you don't have to you can kind of define what you want to be
Yeah.
portrayed as and what you want to market yourself as versus when I was a kid or that generation is like, you know, you're lucky to get an ad or two
Yeah.
with the companies.
For sure.
You know, you have no say. You're just like, oh, whatever, you know? And, you know, but on the coaching side, we didn't have coaches except when we got to high school. You know, we had an Australian, Peter, I forget his last name, Dubier, Peter. Anyways, I'd have to fact check that. But he was an Australian surf coach, and it was all about fitness and training, you know, because we were like, okay, surfing, you know, I was like, hey, nobody was really critiquing us, you know, Coach Verdone and stuff. It was just like, you know, more of a
It's
school
too hard
structure.
and that big of a
But
set.
like
Yeah.
Peter was like, you know, we're training, you know, like stretching,
Sick.
and we're doing like, you know, calisthenic, like we were doing like a full like
Yeah.
program. And then Quicksilver, which was my sponsor for a long time, they would do, you know, Tuesday workouts at 54th Street and, you know, more practice heats
Yeah,
and,
sure.
you know, but not the style and hey, move your arms here. Like,
Yeah,
so
totally.
things have changed, but there's a lot of similarities on like how to win heats and time management
For sure.
and you know, stay conditioned. Like I was like, you know, I could get wave starved, which is, you know, me. I'm gonna wait for a sec because I don't,
Yeah.
you know, if I catch a wave, I'm gonna rip. You know,
Yeah.
like Lennon knows.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
This guy drops hammers at
But-
riders.
But the time management and all of that is it's a tactician like kind of mindset, you know, where you got from Kanga and like not intimidating, but just giving, you know, not giving the opponent like any edge.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
you know, you're just
Yep.
you're making them like, oh shit, that guy's super serious, you know. So there's definitely similarities from like
Yeah.
old school to what you're still doing today.
For sure.
But I mean, now, to be a kid and have, you know, your Instagram is your worth, your
Yeah.
YouTube or your social media like outreach is your worth
Yeah.
versus a contest result
Yeah.
versus being like a really good surfer. And whether it's contest or free or
Yeah.
style or not, whatever, like you know, it's crazy.
It's kind of a trip. It's actually kind of sad for some kids, I think, that it's like they're trying super hard. They might not have the social thing to it. Like
Yeah.
there still needs to be room for kids like that.
Yeah.
You know.
And that falls short a lot on the brands that aren't giving back to that regional or shop kid
Yeah,
or
for
that
sure.
kind of, you know, hey, let's make sure, like, hey, what shops do we have in this town?
Yeah, for sure.
Like what high school is, kind of filtering through this? There needs to be going
Yeah.
back to that kind of tiered,
So with the roots a little bit.
So
roots.
Who are you coaching and mentoring right now?
I have about 100 to 150 people a week right now.
Are you
so
freaking kidding me?
yeah.
And you got a lot of local kids, right?
A lot of local kids.
You got crews?
No, not Cruz.
Okay,
I've
yeah.
got the Castle Boys.
Nice.
I've got the Mesa kids, which are from the South Bay.
The
got,
Tegan and
Tegan in London. Wyatt Yount, he's been doing the program.
and they're just been
Yeah.
on the podium lately, right?
Been on
NCSA.
fire. Yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, those
Um,
those
Yeah.
HB grounders.
Is Jesse Issa
Jesse,
Rap?
Jesse Rapp.
You know what his nickname is, right? Issa Rap.
Got him,
Great
he's a good kid.
Yeah, super good kid.
Sage and Luke Ronaldo, Kaylee Gilchrist, a couple QS chicks, a bunch of adults.
Kaylee Gilchrist?
Yeah. She told us when she was
That's
on the show.
right. Yeah.
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 Raja,
What's that?
Raja,
Who's Raja?
Malibu, little Japanese.
Oh, Raiji.
Raiji, sorry.
Yeah, Raiji.
Raiji.
Masuda, working for Pepperdine for the last 2 years, doing their whole program.
You're working with Pepperdine too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So kind of all over. Basically, like, I just wanted to create a business that could service a surfer from beginner all the way to pro. There's not a lot of people doing that. Like, I'll still do lessons with people that are on soft tops. I'll do like transitional, which is like surfers that are going to the outside, trying to get down the line, starting to do little turns.
That's my division.
Come on, dude, you rip,
Yeah.
bro. You throw me under the bus, but I'll say you rip.
Yeah.
For like
You
a
do rip.
7-year-old
You
dude.
do that, dude. Aki. Chalky.
You old fart.
Yeah, so we kind of have all these different levels, and intermediate, competition kids, adults, pros, like, so within that, it encompasses every type of surfer,
Yeah.
aside from people that are trying to do like performance longboarding. I don't do that.
Yeah. We don't do that here.
Everything else.
I like
I'm
longboarding
doing,
too. I got
Not performance though.
no. I'm definitely not a performance.
Yeah, I'm not a longboard guy, but I'll teach somebody how to surf on a soft top and kind of shrink it down.
Yeah.
But even that stuff gets me stoked. I had a guy show up, like, he's like 19 or something, and he's like been playing basketball forever, and he started off on like a 9-0, like, I don't know, 3 months ago, and now he's like on a 7-0 and getting down the line and surfing outside waves, and he's just like, dude, I'm surfing every day. This is the best thing I've ever done. You just kind of flip the light switch on me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's sick,
Yeah.
That stuff's as cool as like, hey, this kid just won this comp, and
Yeah.
hey, we had a bunch of wins at nationals with my program with the team. Like, that was insane. But there's just so many different avenues to make it
Dude,
happen.
well, I say it all the
Great.
time, like what my best wave is, or what
Yeah.
when I kick out of a wave, and what's killer for me, and that feeling
Yeah,
is the same feeling that guy that just went down the line
Yeah.
straight and like trimmed and kicked out.
Yeah.
Like we're having that same high,
yeah,
but in different.
That wide
Different-
grin, smile.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
that's it's hard for people to kind of like look at the lineup and be like, oh, this sucks. Look at all these kooks and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like,
it's so
you
easy
know,
to
if
get
there,
angry.
it is, and
It
it's
really
like,
is.
you know, like if there's etiquette, which comes in time, and
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
definitely like a pecking order if they know, and now all of that is kind of knowing,
Yeah,
But
but I try to teach that too. I'm like, hey, like,
water
you don't
safety
go
and
here.
yeah.
Like, don't paddle out at Tower 2. Like, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Go down to Bolsa or go way down the beach and like,
Because you're
let's
not
learn
gonna-
about the rules that are not talked about.
Yeah.
But those rules are also going to put them in a more easy, friendly situation and have a better outcome anyways,
Yes.
know? Like, dude, you're going to go out there, you're going to get yelled at,
Yeah.
you're going to get beat up, or you're going to get vibed or
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
And you might
Like,
not want to do this again.
Yeah, like,
100%.
go over here,
Yeah.
you catch more waves, which is the whole point,
Yeah.
and, and I wish, more people that did
Yeah.
coaching and stuff kind of, like, hey,
Yeah.
like, come on,
Yeah.
go down the beach.
Spread it out. Go down.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're good like that.
No, I try.
Except for the little rippers.
I
Yeah.
try.
Little frothers.
Yeah, there's some frothers.
Yeah.
try to teach some etiquette too. It's like, hey,
Which is important.
you know what? Like, yeah, get waves, but don't just, if we're running a heat, don't
Yeah.
just be head down trying to burn guys. Like, you need to smile. You need to shake guys' hands. You need to, like, you're gonna go pal out in Hawaii and see some local dude. Go say what's up. Don't be a Barney about it.
Yeah.
You know, be a good human.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Okay.
Your integrity is better than you doing a blowjob. You know, so.
Didn't you, that was in my monologue here. He looks to help and mold you into a better human, both in and out of the water. This is the guy right here. Yeah.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Dude.
The hog ate tree, dude.
Yeah. No, we again, like I see you down there every day, pretty much, and I see what you do with the kids, and it's awesome. Or the adults, you know. There's adults in there, you know.
Yeah.
Some frothers
Why do you keep looking at me when you say
that like to have that competitive edge, and they're still, you know, showing their trophies on the weekends.
Yeah, it's frothing. Yeah.
Frothing.
I love it. I love it.
It's so rad.
Yeah.
Quit looking at me when you say that.
Yeah, you don't surf contests, so you don't have to worry about that.
But no, there is so many parts of like enjoyment of it, and it's, you know, people are like, oh, you only work with contest guys. I'm like, no, I work with guys that just want to like learn how to do a bottom turn, want to learn how to do a snap, like want to link waves together, want to win a comp, want to do an air. Like there's so many different, and there's all these different highs because people are they're hitting these goals I'm setting out for them, and I see them come in and their smiles as big as a watermelon. I'm like, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I love it. If I made $0, I'd still do it. I love this stuff.
Well, if you need an assistant coach, I would definitely help fill in when needed.
Let's do this.
You know,
Well, what would you do?
I would pull the cake off. You know who I am?
You signed it.
Here, you got a VHS.
I'm
machine? Let's go back and watch some VHS tapes.
You ever heard of the movie Voluptuous?
Right. I just want to. The only reason
Loose change, her loose change.
only reason I brought that up is because this guy surfs Waco a few times a year, and I'm just curious on what rich client like pays for that.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's on that?
We
ticket?
saw him at Surf Ranch, remember?
Yeah.
That's right, there too.
Yeah.
So again,
This
you need a
motherfucker.
hey, you need an assistant.
I never in my mind would think like if you're gonna ask me like 10 years ago, hey, what are you gonna do for a living? I'd be tripping if I told you
I'm gonna be a surf
coach.
a full-time surf coach. These are the people you have. These are the opportunities. Like I would have laughed.
Yeah.
That's not even a thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's bizarre where life will take you and where like God leads you to. You just pray about it and things happen, and it's pretty rad, you know.
Yeah.
Well, going back to being a good human, and then having your, you know, finding a niche and not you know, not taking risks, but you know, you are. You're like, you know, I gotta at least give it a shot. You know,
for sure.
like you gave it a shot, and because of what you've given back and how it worked out, you know, it's like it opened up a lot of opportunity.
For sure.
But
So-
to give up a
We love the expression mixing business with pleasure.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Because that's what we do. We mix
100%.
business with pleasure.
Yep.
And, you know, talking about Surf Ranch,
Yeah.
and it's funny, both of us were mixing business with, all of us were mixing business
Yeah.
with pleasure. Was that last December?
Yeah, last summer actually.
Was it summer or was it?
Yeah, it was summer. It was like a hot one. I was thinking it was
Okay.
July or something. I actually did 2 freaking wave pool trips back to back. Went Waco and came straight home, and I think I went there.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been to the Surf Ranch 15 times, all coaching, and then I've been to Waco.
I thought I was there a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When
I spent
This
about
is
12
fucker.
days at Waco.
this guy doesn't know anything about
Pretty
surfing, I do. So if you need an assistant,
Let's go.
yeah.
So I've been.
Yeah, but he
super-
would be an assistant.
Yeah. I would be like, you should probably do a harder top turn, and then I just catch the rest of the way.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Don't paddle, 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 paddle. I got it.
I'm
Here,
gonna-
let me show you how to do
Hey,
it.
yeah, let me show you how to get tubed real quick. But yeah,
I don't think you got it yet. Let me
Yeah.
do it again for you.
I'm gonna shift my feet forward in the barrel a little bit more. Just take a look at this
So
one.
how funny was that?
Yeah.
Remember when we got
No,
invited
for
by
sure.
Kelly Sorensen on the beach surf shop.
He's a great dude. Whole family.
He's got another trip for December.
Yeah, he does.
You better hit him up.
And probably February.
Yeah.
At KRS Surfwave, I think is his Instagram.
Sounds
handle.
right.
Or on the beach surf shop.
Yeah. Kelly.
If you want to partake in Kelly Slater's wave pool,
Yeah.
hit up Kelly Sorensen on the beach surf shop. But
KS.
we yeah, it was so funny. We pull up and there you are with your
Yeah.
students.
Yep.
And dude, talk about the perks of
Oh yeah.
the job.
It's insane.
Insane. So wave pools and like trips with these guys.
Yeah.
Different trips to
I'll do different trips. I mean, I've been doing trips for. I mean, I took a group of kids down to like Nicaragua 10 years ago. You know, just brought 8 kids, filmers, the whole thing. We're doing reviews at night, so we do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the wave pool thing's been super fun because
Yeah.
they're kind of popping up everywhere, and I've been fortunate enough to go and coach. And some of it's gnarly. Like you don't catch a wave. I've been there sitting there all day. I'm like, oh man, this is gnarly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then other times people throw me a bone like, hey, go surf for an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So I'm just fortunate to be there, surfing or not. And
Well, it's
there-
a job.
there to work and
But,
there,
yeah.
there to service them and
Yeah.
make them stoked and help them have more fun and hit the goals that they want to hit that day. So
are you like taking on more students
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
still have the capacity to
we're always taking on more.
how do they
students.
get a hold of you?
They can go on my website. They can call me directly.
OrangeCountySurfCoaching.com.
Yep, that's me. Hit me up. Cell phone number's on there.
What kind of boards are you shredding on right now? Like design
Gosh,
wise
you know,
and
a mix. Luckily, I've had some pretty good relationships with a lot of guys. They've been super talented over the years.
You riding CIs?
CIs, yeah.
Channel
I've ridden
Islands?
CIs for the last like 12 years. I
Yeah.
love their boards. They're sick. I have like an OG flyer I love. I got a couple that new CI Pros, really cool. Timmy Patterson, I rode for like, almost 8 years.
Wow.
And Timmy was like one of my biggest inspirations with like, you know, shaping. I'd go in the shaping bay, he'd shape boards in front of me, tell me why certain rails work, tell me about these concaves. Like, he's so good to me, and he still shapes a bunch of my boards. So I love riding his boards. Pesh shapes my boards too. So I have kind of a mix, but
Yeah.
those are like the 3 that I love. And
And-
Pesh is amazing.
Yeah.
He's so, I think he's actually one of the most underrated shapers of all time.
unless
I just ran into him this
Yeah.
morning and I said, dude, we gotta get you on the podcast. He's like, I don't know. I'm like,
He's
Right,
so
for
good.
sure.
He's
Right.
rad. He's so good.
Yeah, he was my first like real board sponsor outside of getting like free boards.
Yeah.
You know, like we had a
You'd be blown away to know who he's been shaping boards for
yeah,
I bet.
right now.
yeah,
No one knows.
yeah.
And
It's crazy.
They're gnarly.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. And it's just hush. He's that good.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
I can't say names, but
No,
And,
it's okay.
and unless, which is probably never now in this world we live in, like if you're not getting paid a ton,
yeah.
you know, like you're gonna ride the boards that make you surf the best, but you shouldn't be obligated to just one shaper. You know, like you should
It's nice to mix it up.
you
and
should
expand
mix
your
it up.
knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
again, like I remember riding for or getting some boards from
Yeah.
somebody, and they're like, "Dude, those boards suck," and I'm like, "Do I suck on them?" They're like, "Dude, that looks like the best board I've ever seen."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then so it's like
Different things,
different
work
things for different people,
Sure.
and just communicating with good shapers that have that dialogue and learning, and they a good craftsman could tweak
Yeah.
stuff real easy
For sure.
and turn a dog into a gym, like
Yeah.
I mean, without even knowing what they did. They're like, I don't even know what you did, but make me another one of those, you know?
For sure.
And that's the beauty of like, there's so many good shapers out there,
For sure.
you know? And we love them all. Like I wish, I mean, I get a board today,
Yeah.
and it's like when you got it Christmas morning, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is this gonna be magic? Is this
Yeah.
one I'm gonna go out and be able to mine? You know, like
Yeah,
it's still
totally.
like that.
Still froth.
Dude,
Like
it's
we-
different.
Yeah.
We've been riding stamps boards for a
Yeah.
long time. We still
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But like now that we have, you know, the podcasts, like
Yeah.
interviewing different people,
Yeah,
you know, I've started riding different boards
Yeah.
too, and it's just, it's cool.
For
It's,
sure. Just a different feel, you know?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
But-
cool.
but
I think
also-
you learn as a surfer too.
Yeah.
oh, this feels like this, or I like this type of board, or this type of tail, or I like a little bit of double here, or I like a hip, or I like, it's a trip. You can go down so many avenues and surfboards. And
Do you get a lot of those questions from some of your
oh
like,
yeah,
kids?
that's actually like one of the big points I work on is, hey, this equipment looks off, we're gonna scale here, we're gonna do a different tail, we're gonna put you on this model.
Yeah.
I have probably 40 texts right now. People, hey, can you help me order my next board? It's nonstop.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is such a crucial part in the developing of like as kids progress. But I have a kid that just
It's
grew,
such a
grew
moving
3
target.
inches in
Yeah.
like the last 4 months. I'm like, okay, another inch, another liter, another inch, another liter, another inch, another liter. It's really hard to kind of like, and as you get more volume is beneficial when you're still in that developing age.
Yeah.
Even though like kids like this that try to skateboard and lay flat and skip,
Sure.
but then once you become really kind of more expert, it's like, okay, what's the least amount of volume I could get around with without sinking? It's like a contradictory to what you kind of grew up on.
Yeah.
Because you got to catch waves.
I think
It's
that's
so
kind of what you're
difficult.
seeing with guys like Felipe right now.
Yeah,
They're almost on the smallest things possible.
for sure.
And he's able to like power it.
It's
Yeah.
weight transfer.
Crazy.
I mean, again, when your expertise, you're
Yeah.
you're using every inch of that curve and rail and fin
Yeah.
and everything and like
Sure. And different guys are on different things. Like it's a trip. Like Felipe is like riding boards that are pretty darn small, and then Gabriel rides like massive boards. Like I trip, like so thick, really wide up front. You're like, oh, this is crazy. It's just all where they put their weight. And it's everyone's different.
everybody's different.
Somebody, we heard that, was it you that was saying that he gets boards shipped to places, brand new boards, and rides them.
Gabriel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and rides them brand new.
Yeah. he's
Like
a-
doesn't,
He doesn't travel with boards.
he doesn't travel with boards.
No board bags. They're already there.
just shows up.
Yeah, shows up and there's 8 of each size of.
He's a freak, dude.
He's a freak.
So good. It's
So good.
crazy.
Okay, so who's your prediction for 2023?
If everybody's healthy.
That's a real That's what I was gonna say. I'm saying Gabe goes on a tear. I think he's gonna come
Yeah,
back.
the little time off.
I think he's gonna
Him
come
and
back.
him and John are coming back 100%,
Yeah.
unhurt, and just gonna fuck people up. Sorry,
I think,
I cussed first time.
I think that tour is gonna cater to John surfing, but Gabriel's a freak.
Freak.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
He knows where to put his board. His timing's good. He knows how
Everything's
to
good.
adapt on every wave.
There's no flaw.
No,
So your stable of horses right now.
I'm going Gabriel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your stable of
Yeah.
horses. The kids you're coaching right
Uh-huh.
now.
Yep.
Who do you see, like,
Making
not
a
to
huge
put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but like, where you go?
Who are you
this
impressed-
kid's got talent. Because you got a couple of them.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Hear that, Lar?
You put him on the spot. He's gonna have to give love to a bunch of people, or they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Gosh.
No, you could say like,
it's hard.
everybody's been improving.
Well, I'm going to tell you what
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think?
I'm psyched on the Huntington Beach kids
Yeah.
because they're out there all day long,
Yeah, they're working.
every day,
Yeah.
like loving it,
Yeah.
competing,
Yeah.
and you can see it. I think with your help, we're gonna have some future fucking
Oh, thank you.
stars in our.
That means a
We
lot.
got a
You know, coming
really
from
good
we
kid
need to
group
get
right
some
now.
Huntington Beach,
Yeah.
rippers on the QS
That's
and
what's like
the world tour.
kind of my goal. I was like, I want to help the city kind of like research,
Yeah.
And
It's
somebody
been a long
can't-
time. There's
Yeah.
been a big old gap between
There's some really good kids right now.
Kanoa
It's
and
gnarly.
D-Ba and
Yeah.
Simpo,
Yeah, for sure.
in
Timmy.
Yeah.
Reyes, yeah,
Totally.
and
I think there's some kids that can do it.
Yeah, we don't need any like video magazine stars.
Yeah.
Those
we
are
need-
gone.
we need some hammers.
those are gone.
Yeah, there's
But like
some kids that come to mind where
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, they're gnarly.
Yeah.
Like it's
the
so
castles are fucking
Castles
gnarly.
are gnarly. Wyatt's gnarly.
Wyatt's gnarly.
Gavin Lesby's ripping.
He's gnarly.
Gosh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
That
Guinaldo's.
Tegan Meza girl is
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah. Now are they from the South?
She's from the South Bay.
Yeah.
She comes down here like
Yeah.
4 times a week.
Yeah, we see her all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
She's gnarly.
Yeah.
You know, PD rips.
Petey.
PD's gnarly.
Yeah.
That guy knows how to surf the heat. Just tick off the boxes. You know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, and you never know. There's always the late bloomers too.
Yeah.
You know.
They grow their bodies and
you just
That's
figure
what-
it out all of a sudden.
Well,
I
that's
mean, look at how late Brett was.
yeah.
He was a late bloomer.
And Courtney too, right?
Courtney was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Courtney was late for sure.
yeah.
So
I mean,
you
when,
can't.
when we were kids, like Pat O'Connell and Donovan were late.
Yeah.
We were already on the
Yeah.
stay for a couple of years, and those guys show up and are like, "Yeah, we just moved here and started surfing," and next year they're winning everything.
Yeah.
You're like, "What the?"
It's really hard to tell when they're like 12.
Yeah.
I think like when I
You-
mentioned
you-
adolescence,
Yeah.
like when you hit puberty, your body goes through some weird things, and you know, I don't mean
Yeah.
physically, mentally, everything. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well, there's just so many variables too. It's like, what are you interested in? There's way more distractions now.
Yes.
Are you going to stay on a narrow path? Are you going to swerve
Yeah.
off of it? Are you going to get lost
Well-
in the mix? It's a hard one. You
Well,
know?
I've seen. I grew up with a couple of what you thought protege, like young
Yeah,
kids,
sure.
and they got burnt out by 16.
Sure.
And those that didn't have other releases and everything, or it was the parents, or it was just like them, or it was just like
Yeah.
and then they're like done. You're like, whoa, where'd those guys go?
I know.
You know,
And
so
there's
there's
guys
no.
that kind of make the tour that you'd never
Yeah.
think too, and then you have like these golden ones who you're like, that guy's gonna be on tour for sure.
Yeah.
And
They
they
disappear.
try and try and try, and they never make it. It's
Yeah.
a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's tough.
I just feel like there's just like in business, there's no like checklist that if you hit the checklist you're
No.
guaranteed, because
It's always-
life's not a guarantee.
It's moving.
Yeah,
it's always moving.
it's very
Yeah.
variable and moving and stuff, and yeah, but going back to Lyndon's point, like we got a lot of great young talent in,
For sure.
in Huntington, and
Yeah.
and we're stoked you're behind the
thanks.
helm, and we see other parents investing and they're like their kids futures and stuff,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's good.
I appreciate
You
that.
know?
No, it's good. And I think for them too, like I'm trying to help them go, hey, if you are, say you pursue this and if it doesn't work out, let's find other avenues for you. Let's look at what's realistic. Let's look at becoming a better person. Because I tell kids this all the time, like I worked for almost every sponsor I rode for. Like I rode for Cobian for 10 years. I still work for Cobian. I rode for Fox. I worked for Fox. So
Yeah.
make sure that you're staying in communication. If you do get a sponsorship, kind of like check in with them every month.
Yeah.
Send them an email. Say thanks. Give your team manager a gift card. Those guys don't get anything.
Yeah.
Like it's just like want,
Yeah.
and then you don't.
Me.
Yeah, it's like give that back. Be a good stewardess for what you're already receiving.
Yeah.
Be a good person. You never know who you're gonna meet out in the lineup. It might be your future boss.
Yeah.
Don't snake people and flip them off. And
Or your best client.
you never know.
Or your web designer.
Yeah, you never know. Hey, you seriously? No, for sure. It's crazy. So, it's I think that stuff just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, shoot.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was a great little episode. Already been 2 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2 hours. Come on now.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It has.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, hour 44.
Okay, we got family to get back to.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So Christian Grindzy Saenz,
Science.
Orange County Surf Coaching.
Yes.
Did you want to plug anything else or?
Oh man. Maybe my wife.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna plug my wife.
She's gonna listen to
Look
this
at
for sure.
this,
You're on.
dude.
Listen to it.
Dude, she.
Let's put another baby in ya.
No, I'm done. I'm done.
You got three.
No, like you guys all know,
Three.
you guys have amazing wives. Like
Yeah.
it takes that person to be able to raise your kids and just throw the hammer down for you.
Yeah.
You know, and like she's the only reason I'm successful is because she puts in the hard yards with the kids too.
Yeah.
You know, like there's times I'm not around, she's making it happen, and I'm
Yeah.
not working, so I'm super fortunate for that.
Hey babe, I gotta go to the beach again. Hey babe, I gotta go for that surf pit. Hey babe, I gotta fly to the wave pool
Hey babe, I
again.
gotta go to
Hey, babe.
Texas.
She'll-
Let's go to Waco.
Yeah.
Hey babe, I gotta go to Kelly Slater's
and
wave pool.
again,
And again, going back to mixing business with pleasure, you're always going to get crap for,
Oh yeah.
oh, you're having fun. Well, that's what I intended for.
Yeah,
You know, like you're in the place
Yeah.
you want to be in.
You're gonna get smacked. I get smacked all the time, dude, from so many people. Bro, what? You should have coached her. I'm just like, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? Like,
Hey, for anybody that has that complaint, get
Yeah.
used to it
Yeah.
because it ain't gonna go away.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
And we love that it's Christian Grindzy Saenz that does it.
Yeah.
But before we get off the air, we haven't done this before, but let's plug our sponsors.
Do it.
Right?
Fudge.
So we're gonna give you some Just Live CBD.
Point it to the camera.
Pain relief cream.
Yes.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Just Live.
All right.
We've got some, you know who Strider, Strawberry
Of
Wazalewski
course
is.
I
He
do.
started his own.
Guy catches every wave after
Yeah.
at the surf ranch.
Yeah.
Just kind of magically be out there after the
Yeah.
set.
I think at J-Bay, I think at Fiji, I think at Tahiti, Chopes, and everywhere
Shade,
else.
sunscreen. It's
I
been
like
around
this.
since the sun.
Yep.
Booyah.
I like that. Thank you.
Probably one of the
Bonzai.
best,
Oh gosh.
healthiest, best tasting.
OG bowl with dark chocolate chips.
Ooh,
Try it.
Bonsai bowl.
Ooh.
Live life in the bowl.
You dark
I
chocolate fan?
love dark
You
chocolate.
gotta do dark chocolate on the bun.
You know, we got you
Wow,
some
it's next level.
Ashland Hard Seltzer.
Ashland.
We got a No Bad Waves because you're a wave cooler. No Bad Waves. Country Club Surf Club.
Yeah.
We're not
Every
really one
wave
of our
is good.
sponsors, but we're sponsored today.
Yep. And he's got a late night with Chalky trucker hat.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Left Coast Novelties.
Yes.
Amelia.
Oh,
You did some private label for me.
nice.
He's solid.
He's so solid.
And a special thank you to Caballero Pools and
Dude.
Spa.
Oh, yeah.
New sponsor to the program.
Can I get a deal on a pool?
We could try.
My
Yeah.
wife's been begging me for a darn pool.
We're gonna set it up.
Caballero, set me up.
Great.
I
Good
want
investment
that
for the
Baja
family.
bar.
Hey, this is all our sponsors are
Amazing.
amazing, but they're also like it's been organic.
Yeah,
They're our
that's
friends that turned out to be our
Yeah.
sponsors. So
Sure.
Caballero Pools and
Just
Spas.
wanted to support us, and they put out an
Dude, they
amazing
were-
product.
Mark Caballero is one of the guys on our
Fantasy Surf League.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
And one day he just reaches out. He's like, "Hey, can we sponsor your podcast?"
That's
I'm like,
so cool.
"Fuck yeah, you can."
Yeah, it's amazing.
Anybody else want to sponsor the podcast? But gang can.
Neon Wave,
All right.
sick like
Boutique,
skate, snow
yeah.
surf boutique in
Okay.
New York.
Yeah.
Earth Pack
Earth Pack.
Dave Bach,
dude,
Earth
yeah.
Pack.
If you need any sort of like
packaging.
packaging or
Oh,
bags,
nice, yeah.
dude, the guy makes it all.
It's all environmentally friendly, sustainable stuff.
Yep.
Uh,
What episode was he? Early, like 6,
early,
10?
yeah,
15?
he's been on the podcast.
Early.
Who else?
Lake
Elsinore, Chrysler, Dodge,
Yeah.
Jeep, and Ram.
Yeah.
Larry, my boy.
Larry
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lake Elsinore.
Who else?
He's my girl's
Oh.
baseball coach.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, I'm on his baseball team.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, small world.
I
Larry's
just
the man.
texted with him this morning.
I love Larry.
He hooks us up.
So who else? We said Just Live.
Caliente.
Caliente Southwest Grill,
Yeah.
North Side.
Eat or Northside Cafe. Yeah. We love
Inherent
it.
Bummer.
Inherent Bummer. She's living.
Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Who
Not
else?
enough, you guys. So as you can see, we don't have enough sponsors. So if you can kind
Ashland
of,
Hard Seltzer.
oh,
Villager
dude,
Spirits.
good. You said that, I think.
Ashland.
Yeah. We need more. You guys,
Uh,
our guests are really thirsty.
What's the best flavor?
The sherbet, the mango
Pineapple.
tahine.
Pineapple coconut.
Yeah, that one's good.
Oh.
They're all good.
Yeah.
But Villager Spirits.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like ready to drink.
it's like a mixed cocktail,
Oh, okay.
not a
Yeah.
seltzer.
So
They were doing the coconut water.
they were, yeah.
And
So
now it's a seltzer.
Now it's hard
Mixed,
Mixed drinks.
cocktail.
Sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like 12%, 13%.
Lyndon's
alcohol.
ham bone after 3.
Oh my god.
Dude, who else? Are we missing anybody?
I don't
Shay.
know. I didn't have the list. You should have prepped me. I would have had the
Well,
list.
I just thought of it, bro.
Yeah,
Bonsai bowl.
yeah.
I did
Banzai.
Bonsai Bowl.
We
Joe
did.
Bizarre.
Anyways, we'll get you on the next episode, you
Oh.
guys.
For the next guest that's going to be on the show, we're actually going to have a little studio
Oh yeah.
Outpost Kitchen.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We might have a little studio for a short period of time.
Yeah.
We've been trying to milk it. Anybody like wants us to be this cool vibe in your little business? Let us know.
This show's not about late night with Chalky sponsors.
Yeah, it's about Christian Saenz.
Yeah, boys. Thanks for having me on.
It's about Grindzy.
Yeah. And then definitely sign up for our Patreon if you want to see this live and not just audio.
Yeah.
And we're giving amazing,
Exclusive content.
exclusive content.
This month we're giving away a Blair Conklin Catch Surf prize package.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Get it, people.
yeah,
Get
sign
it,
up,
people.
support, have fun.
Wow, dude,
Thanks, guys.
you've come a long way
Thank you.
Yeah.
from when I first met you with the colostomy bag.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or grabbing panties.
We should call your dad right now.
Dude, that's so.
Dude.
See if he'll answer.
Wait, sit.
And-
You know what?
and-
Call your dad and say, and don't say anything, but say, look, panties. Call him right now and say that. He better answer too. He better answer.
This is it.
This is it. This would be
I'm gonna
freaking.
call him real quick.
And don't tell me you're with us. Just say
Yeah,
hey.
don't. Yeah, just say hey. Don't even say hey. Say panties.
No, Victoria's Secret.
No, don't say that. Just say panties. Look,
You
Dad.
guys got a messed up line.
Say, look, Dad, panties.
I got a little 5 minutes out of my crumbs.
Okay, is it-
Better answer, Hoggy.
Panties.
Hey, look, Dad, panties.
Victoria's Secret. Ring a bell.
Hoggy, you remember that?
I never even knew that story.
Late Night with Chalky podcast.
Yeah,
with,
dude.
with your mini me.
We're doing the podcast with Orange County surf coaching Grindzy.
Yeah.
I made it. He made it big time.
Look, Dad, panties.
Christian never heard that story, and Lennon had us cracking up.
Hey, say, you got a job to do. Right now you have to say, this is Hage-san, listen to Late Night with Chalky. Say, this is Hage-san, listen to Late Night with Chalky. No, you gotta do it right now. Say it. Say it! Say, listen to, I'm Hage-san, listen to Late Night with Chalky. Woo!
That's a wrap.
Peace.
That's it.